Oh my God, sorry. I told you too. Yeah. So over here. All right, let's go right into our first agenda item. This is a presentation from the Gateway Development Commission on their redesign of Penn Avenue while the construction is going on. So I will turn over to them.
Oh, and David Warren is online.
Hi, David.
Janine, do you want to share your screen or do you want us to do it?
You can share, that way you have full control.
Okay, Noelle, do you mind doing that?
Yeah, no problem. One sec.
Thank you.
And we should say thank you to the community board for having us today while we pull up the presentation. We do appreciate the opportunity to engage you on the work that we're doing down the line on the Hudson Tunnel project. I know that you see it on the west side, and it's our goal to make sure that we continue to keep you informed as plans progress for future work as well. So thank you. And thanks, Noelle.
All right, Rebecca, do you want to kick it off or do you want me to?
You can.
Okay. And Laura kind of did it anyways, but thank you everyone for having us. We're here to talk to you all about our plans for our 10th Avenue Tunnel project that's coming down the line, like Laura said. We are basically here to show you our design for what the street will look like while we are in construction, and get any initial feedback and just start letting everyone know what's going to be going on. And this will obviously be a continued conversation. So I think next slide, Noelle. And yeah, just to show sort of where this particular project that we're talking about today is, you can see this is sort of the west side of Manhattan near Penn Station. In sort of the blue area that's outlined here is where we're currently working in 12th Avenue and in the river, and then in brown are other active construction sites. We're not going to be talking about those projects today. If there are questions, we can answer them, but that's not the focus of the presentation. We're focused on our 10th Avenue Tunnel project, which is going to be happening on 10th Avenue between 30th and 33rd Street, approximately. So sort of near to Hudson Yards, between Hudson Yards and Penn Station. Next slide. And Tony, I think I'll turn it over to you here unless you want me to do this one.
Well, yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Emma, and good evening, everybody. As Emma mentioned, this is focusing on the 10th Avenue tunnel, which is basically located at 10th Avenue between 31st and 33rd Street. Basically, the anticipated start date, the award date is the second quarter of 2027. The start date is the second quarter of 27 once it's awarded, and the end date right now is anticipated to be the fourth quarter of 2030. The project basically is using cut and cover method of construction, which is essentially a very common way of constructing tunnels in New York City, and also it will involve utilities to be relocated and supported in place under temporary decking. And I'll get into more detail as to the major construction activities that are going to be done with regards to the project. Moving forward, next slide. Okay, this slide here basically highlights the tunnel as it comes across 10th Avenue. As I mentioned earlier, it's basically between 31st and 33rd Street. And then also shown is 10th Avenue, as well as the bike lane and the west sidewalk in front of Related. Next slide. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, there are going to be a number of major construction activities that's going to happen as part of the construction. On the right, you see these photos, the representative, what we call MPT work zones. And in order to construct the tunnel going across 10th Avenue, we need to maintain traffic on one side and then do the construction. So we have to basically shift from the west to the east, and there'll be several stages. In order to perform these activities, we'll be doing these stages several times back and forth across the street. The major activities related to this is the relocation of utilities in order to be able to clear the area so we can install what we call supportive excavation walls where the decking will sit on top of it. So what you're looking at on the slide here, if you look at, you see these double dash lines going across, that's the limits of the tunnel. So essentially the SOE walls that we call it will be installed on the outside of it. And then you're going to have the decking that's going to be put on top of it. The decking is like a bridge that allows us to be able to continue the excavation underneath the decking in order to build the tunnel. So the other activity is, as I mentioned earlier, once you've put the decking on top, then we'll continue to excavate the tunnel below the decking, and that includes excavating soil as well as rock. Once we've done that, we'll then construct the tunnel and then backfill and put the utilities back and restore the street. And the final restoration of the street, basically, which we'll go over later on, includes putting back the markings, furniture, and restoring everything back to where it was before. We've coordinated with all the major agencies, primarily New York City DOT, as you know, because they control the street, as well as DEP, Con Ed, Verizon, for utilities, fire department for maintaining major emergency access, New York City Parks, because there's a couple of trees on the sidewalk that will be impacted, as well as the local stakeholders. You have Brookfield on the east side, and then you have related Hudson Yards on the west side. What also impacted is Long Island Railroad, which is underneath the Hudson Yards area, which will be impacted as well. NYPD is also coordinated with because, for emergency services, as well as 34th Street Partnership, because 10th Avenue on this section, on the east side of 10th Avenue, the street lights and the signals as well as the signage is basically maintained by the 34th Street Partnership, while on the west side it's maintained by New York City DOT. And so we had to coordinate with them because there will be some impacts on the east side with the street lights. Next slide. As I mentioned earlier, with regards to the MPT, we met with DOT from the onset, and they basically told us that we have to maintain 3 lanes of traffic, which we are doing, maintaining 3 lanes of side traffic, as well as we're going to maintain sidewalks on both sides. However, the sidewalks will have to be reduced to 5 feet, and especially because the tunnel basically goes from building line to building line. So essentially, everything will be impacted at some point. So we will be reducing the sidewalks to about 5 to 8 feet. On the west side, in addition to the sidewalk, we'll also have to relocate the existing bike lane in order to maintain the mobility with the bike. For the bikes, it will be relocated onto the west sidewalk. So west sidewalk will have a lane for pedestrians as well as a lane for bikes to be able to continue to travel to 10th Avenue. But the bike lane and the pedestrian lane will be reduced to about 5.5 feet. We will maintain access to all buildings during construction. And the street lighting levels will be maintained during construction. Next slide. This slide here basically highlights the bike lane. As we mentioned, in order to basically maintain the mobility for the bikes, we had to shift the bike lane onto the west side of 10th Avenue. This was coordinated with DOT, and everything that you see here has been reviewed and basically approved with them. If you look below, we have some details in terms of the type of signage that will be provided in order to maintain the bike lane mobility. The one in the middle basically highlights the cross-section of the bike lane relative to the walkway. The walkway will be close to the building entrances, and the bike lane will be further out, and they'll be separated by delineators. So if you look at the top, you see these little dots in the middle. Those are delineators separating pedestrians from the bikes. Next slide. This is basically a map of the truck routing. This truck routing is dependent on the FEIS that was developed for this project. So essentially, the FEIS requires us to the trucks to go up 34th Street. So the trucks that would be leaving the site, as you know, 10th Avenue is one way northbound. So if they leave the site, they're required to make a left onto 34th Street and then go to 11th Avenue and then go south and then come across to 12th Avenue in order to get to Lincoln Tunnel. Similarly, if they come into the city from Lincoln Tunnel, they'll come down 34th Street and then go down 11th Avenue and then make a left onto 30th Street and then make a left onto 10th Avenue. That's based on the FEIS as it is right now. Next slide. Okay, in terms of the restoration, the design concept was basically to put back all the areas that were impacted between 31st and 33rd Street. I think there is you'll see a photo of the area that's impacted and how we propose it to restore it. But just a summary of it, we are going to basically restore it in kind in terms of putting back the sidewalks and everything else that were impacted, as well as we've met with New York City DOT and coordinated with them. We're going to provide increased lighting levels on the west side and the east side based on their street lighting study and their Vision Zero requirements. So as a result, there will be additional lighting on the west side. There will be 4 sidewalk light extensions that are going to be on the back of the existing street lights that are there. And then on the east side, we'll provide an additional distinctive light pole on between 31st and 33rd in order to increase the lighting level. All the ramps are going to be brought up to what we call ADA standard using the requirements we provided by ProWag. Also at the intersection of 31st and 33rd, we will add what we call APS, which is accessible pedestrian signals at the poles. Some of those are already provided, but we will enhance, upgrade them to whatever is required to meet DOT's requirements. Also, there will be new planters installed on the west sidewalk that we've coordinated with Related to provide them after the construction is completed, as well as replacing the planters on the east side in front of Brookfield that will be impacted by the construction. Next slide. So this is an outline of the area that we'll be restoring. Basically, the area that you see in the little diamond shape is what we call full depth restoration. Full depth meaning that this is the area where the construction happens. So we'll have to completely replace the pavement, including the base pavement, as well as the asphalt on top of it. Outside of that, between 31st and 33rd, and extending pretty much all the way up to about halfway to 34th Street, we'll do what they call mill and pave, which is basically to mill down the pavement and then restore it with new pavement as well as new markings and everything else that to be restored. The bike lane, the crosswalks and everything that was impacted, as well as the sidewalks that were impacted. And as I mentioned earlier, the street light poles will be installed and additional lighting will be provided. Next slide. I think I will turn this over to, I guess, Emma or Rebecca to talk about the work.
Go ahead. Thanks, Tony. Hi, Rebecca Zach. We just wanted to, we talked about this with the co-chairs, and these are the expected work hours that will be in the contract. If there is, and we know that there's a lot of sensitivity in this area to a lot of construction that has been endured over many, many years. So our commitment to CB4, to the co-chairs, to leadership is when the contractor comes to us asking for more time, we will be coordinating heavily with you and with New York City DOT to make sure that we are approaching that in as a sensitive way possible to take into context what the overall experience that is happening with any construction in this area. Next slide. Thank you. And I just have to say, I think this is one of the first times I haven't gone in person, and I'm just very bummed about that because I see all of you in the room, and I'm sorry I'm not there in person.
Cat tonight, yeah, you're missing out. All right, questions from the committee, Rodney, go ahead.
It's a general statement, and I know we're talking about 10th Avenue, but I wanted to share with the committee as well as the Gateway team. I wanted to commend you on your signage and your community engagement presence. As someone who regularly runs along the Hudson River, I enter the park at 29th, and I found the sign very inviting, very thoughtful, engaging. So again, I wanted to share that with you as well as my colleagues. Very impressed with the signage.
Well, we really appreciate that kind of feedback. And I appreciate you sharing that with us in real time.
Good.
Is there a design reason for the bike lane sort of abruptly making a right angle on one end and then another right angle on the second end? Because it's not a great experience bike and you have like a very narrow lane and then you're trying to like immediately turn this way, then immediately turn again. And is there a way to sort of
Yeah, I mean, can you bring the slide that shows the bike lane? Yeah, I think this was coordinated. That was based on coordination with DOT. They basically wanted to slow down so that people did not use, like fly into the sidewalk, and so sometimes bikes have a tendency to go too fast. So that was they intentionally wanted us to do it that way. So they'll force them to slow down in order to basically go proceed onto the bike lane as it basically moves on from the street to the sidewalk. Similarly, it's the same thing at the other end, because what you're looking at here, you have the southern end and on the left, and then you have the northern end on the right. The other photos give you the full scale of how long it goes. And the same thing, they really wanted them to literally slow down so they can shift from the sidewalk to the roadway and not basically fly down the from the roadway onto as you know, some people have a tendency to speed on those bikes more than they should be.
Did you have a question?
I did. How do you guys determine when you have to reduce sidewalk width? How do you land on the minimum sidewalk width that's reasonable? Do you do like a pedestrian traffic assessment or what?
We did do a traffic analysis where we evaluated the level of pedestrians, and based on the analysis of the pedestrians, we looked at analyzed it with the current width as well as with the reduced width, and the levels were acceptable based on the work that's done, and that was done to update our NEPA reevaluation, which is going on at the moment as part of this relocation of the bike lane.
And Tony,
That's all.
sorry, are there minimum standards for DOT and ADA compliance as well that are taken into consideration?
Yes, the minimum is 5 feet by New York City DOT. That's why we didn't reduce it to less than 5 feet. And we are on the east side, especially. We reduce it to 5 feet when we have to, but we do try to increase it to more than 5 feet. That's why we have 5 to 8 feet. Unfortunately, because we have to relocate the bike lane and the walkway on the west side, which is basically with the two of them together, that's 11 feet. So we could not give it more than that, with the bike lane there. But the minimum is 5 feet by New York City DOT standards.
I have a question about there is a bus stop, right, in that section?
Yes, there's a bus stop south of 31st Street that's going to be maintained.
Okay.
Liam.
Yeah, am I correct reading the slides? Is the amount of vehicle lanes the same?
Yes, 3 lanes.
Why? I mean, it feels kind of like a value proposition of like you're not touching the space that's given to cars, but you are taking away from bikes and pedestrians. And I want to know why that decision was made.
Well, basically, DOT, this is basically as part of DOT's request, they wanted to maintain 3 lanes of traffic. As you know, there's quite a bit of traffic on 10th Avenue, and it's a major access route to Lincoln Tunnel. And that was one of their requirements. And so in order to do that, you know, as you know, the 3 lanes in existing traffic is 3 lanes because you also have the bike lane and the parking and all that. So in order to do that, we had to basically reduce the bike lane and shift it onto the sidewalk. Unfortunately, that's their requirement.
Yeah, I mean, I would just I would suggest, and I think the committee would probably agree with me in large part, that our community relies significantly more on foot traffic. That's how the people who live in Hell's Kitchen and Chelsea get around. Very few of us drive anywhere, and so I think we would like that to be the other way around. But
I can appreciate that, Liam, and I appreciate the question. We know that the CB is very rich in its love of other forms of transportation. I think with the contract that the work that this is going to be, that we tried to, and we obviously had to work really closely with the agency to make sure that we were maintaining all of these modes of transportation. But I appreciate the question and your response to that. Thank you.
And just follow up on that, how wide are the lanes of traffic?
I think they're about 10 and a half, and 11 feet, which is pretty much
So
what they are now.
That's a missed opportunity because, you know, you could have 8 to 9 feet lane, which would be as effective, and which is in a lot of cases, we had 8 to 9 feet lanes. And that would give you a lot of space to give back to the bike lane and to the pedestrians. There is no need for an 11 feet lane there. As a matter of fact, part of Vision Zero is to reduce the size of the lanes so that people can go slower. So I don't see why we wouldn't use those standards. And, you know, we understand you have to comply with the DOT, but we can raise that to DOT.
I'm sorry, it says that I'm updated everything, but when I try to join, I just keep getting the list that says there's a meeting, you know, scheduled tonight.
All right.
But I'm on
Who's talking right
I'm on without the video. I don't know if you can see the screen, but I'm on. I'm listening to the conversation, but I can't be seeing. That's all. I'm there.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, well, sorry. Who's speaking? We can't tell.
Who are you?
No, he keeps sending it over and over and over again, the invitation. Every time I do it, it says I need
Where is it coming from?
Could you tell us your name, please?
I believe that was Jean. She's on for the Halloween parade. I muted her for now.
Yeah, I think that's not. I think that's just someone speaking, but I guess can you mute her, Janine?
Yeah, I did.
Thank you. I couldn't figure out who that was. Sorry.
So anyway, the fact that those lanes are so wide is kind of good news because I think we have a potential, benefit there that we could push on.
So,
Yeah,
are you going to reach out to DOT? Is that?
All right, we got it.
We'll reach out to both of you, but mostly to DOT and copy you, right?
Okay.
Calling on there.
I'm here, Colleen from DOT.
Pauline. Hi. So can you tell us why we are making such wide lanes?
Why we're making such wide lanes? I thought you like wide lanes, Christine.
Oh, I know.
Not for cars. Not for cars.
Not for cars.
On a lot of locations, we are reducing to 9 feet, and here it seems that we're going to be 11 or 11 and a half.
Isn't this gonna be Vision Zero at the end anyway? That's what it now, right?
But, well, they wouldn't change. Okay.
Charlie, sorry.
One other point on this is hopefully by 2027, we'll have Sammy's Law in our neighborhood and cars can go slower. They'll have to go slower, so a 9-foot lane or an 8-foot lane is fine. I was just curious if you could detail, are you removing a parking lane and which side of the street is losing a parking lane? And have we thought about implications of drivers who want to double park or illegally park anyway, and issues that could cause. I guess there's a Jersey barrier between the bike lane and the moving lane, so they can't park there, I
Yeah.
guess. Right.
Yeah, what we've done is, yes, you're right, the parking lane will be impacted, especially the one on the west side between 31st and 33rd. On the east side, I don't think they have a parking lane, at least not 31st and 33rd. But what we've done also in coordination with New York City DOT, if you can go back to the next, I think the previous, okay. If you look back, can you blow up this plan for a minute? Just so I can highlight it. Okay, so one of the things that we did, because we were informed that, they have a lot of, kiss and rides or pick up and drop offs in there. So we basically work with DOT and to allow there's the area between 30th and 31st, where next to the bike lane, that parking lane will be maintained for cars to, pick up and drop off. Unfortunately, because of the construction activities and the space that we need to do the construction, the area between 31st and 33rd, the parking will be impacted in that area. So, yeah.
It's not unfortunately, it's fortunately.
Okay.
And is the bus?
All right,
Bus,
well, I wasn't sure that that was the case. Well, fortunately, I stand corrected.
Charlie just had a quick question, just to confirm the bus stop is not impacted by this?
or just the flow of the bus in general?
Right. The bus stop is at the corner of the southeast corner of 31st Street. It's going to be maintained. I think we have some utility work that's going to be done at some point in order there during that stage. We'll try to maintain the bus stop either by shifting it back towards Dyer Avenue, but it won't be for a long period of time. For the most part, the bus stop will be maintained.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this, ask any questions? Going once, going twice? All right, well, thank you very much for the presentation. Christine and I came into this thinking we probably didn't need a letter on this one, but maybe now we're changing our mind based on some of the feedback we heard tonight. And so just to summarize, the letter that we'll be sending is just obviously acknowledging that this work needs to happen and we generally support the work. We'd ask them to look a little bit deeper into maybe narrowing the traffic lanes so we can get back a little bit of space on sidewalk and
Thanks for the heads up. We appreciate that.
So that'll be a quick, very easy letter. And can I get a motion? Great, second. All those in favor? Let's see online. Great. Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Nope. They're not eligible. Abstain. Great. Thank you so much for that presentation. Excellent. We are thank you for being here with us tonight. And good to see you all again, as always. We are now moving on to our second item.
MCB4.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
We are going to move on to our second item, DOT, still with us, hello. We're presenting on the public e-bike charging program, very exciting. And we are excited for this presentation.
Hey, so thank you for having us here this evening. I'm Colleen Chattergoon from City Department of Transportation. My colleague tonight, Elaine, is joining me, and we're going to be giving a presentation on the public e-bike charging program within CB4. We're also going around giving this presentation to all of the boards in Manhattan. So let us know if you have any concerns. Thanks so much.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Can everyone hear me and see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Let me just make sure everything is good. All right. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all. My name is Elaine. I'm the program manager for e-bike charging here at DOT. Let me know if you hear the raindrops. It's a little bit loud outside. If that is bothersome, I can close my windows. But okay, let's get started. Are we good?
Yeah, we're good. You can went out for a sec, but you're good.
Yeah. All right. So first off, I just want to start off with thanking you all for this opportunity tonight, and want to start off with the challenge that we have in New York City, which is really these e-bike lithium-ion batteries. This has resulted in more than 400 fires and over 30 deaths in the city, and most of these are, as we talk to the fire department, these are really caused by uncertified and low quality e-bike batteries. And secondly, improper and unsafe charging practices. Sorry. So where did this all stem from? In 2024, we really conducted a pilot on this type of technology, and we asked delivery workers, to try this technology out and see how they liked it. What we heard is that they actually liked it, and they, in fact, told us a couple of things. The first thing is that it gave them a sense of ease in their mind because they could use these swapping cabinets rather than charge in their apartments. But not only that, they also, many of them told us that they completely eliminated their need to charge indoors as well. Some workers also shared that they had a willingness to pay for this service if they were located in key areas, and of course helped them reduce their downtime and lowered their battery related expenses. So through this pilot, we heard a couple other things, which is that, these workers really need to swap their battery mid-shift. This is usually between, lunch and dinner rush. And so workers are typically carrying more than one battery at a time. And these batteries are no iPhone batteries, like they're pretty hefty things. And we want to recognize and help alleviate some of that physical workload that they have to carry on their backs. The second thing is that generally they're looking for alternative solutions already, and this is one of the solutions that we were thinking of. And lastly, many are met with landlords completely banning charging indoors. So this provides an alternative as well. So what exactly are we proposing? We received $3 million in funding from NYSERDA, and this is going toward putting these battery swapping cabinets at approximately 25 locations in New York City. The bulk of this funding is really going to the electrical connection to bring power to DOT right-of-way, and we will be hiring on, or we will be releasing an RFP to get a vendor on board. So this image on the right side you see is where we're focusing our project area. It's really most of Manhattan, parts of South Bronx, the Queens, and downtown Brooklyn area. The reason for this is for two big reasons. One, this is where most of the delivery activity actually happens in New York City, and I have a map on that to show you in a second. And two, this is where e-bike usage is really popular. As you kind of go further out into the outer boroughs, it's more mopeds that get popular. So we understand that, of course, battery swapping cabinets will not solve everything, and we recognize that e-bike safety is we need a holistic approach here. So not only do we want these battery swapping cabinets all on the public right of way, but we also want to make sure we focus on educating these delivery workers on safe riding practices and just fire safety in general, making sure we build out the necessary infrastructure, such as bike lanes for users to access, and of course recognizing maybe where some of the core issues may come from, this being delivery apps themselves incentivizing delivery workers to speed or go as fast as possible to really meet their delivery time. So DOT right now is working with City Council to hold these delivery apps accountable. What is a battery swapping cabinet and how does it work? Generally, these are these cabinet structures. There are two kind of models you see here, one that is gray and one that is black and yellow. And what you do is users will scan a QR code, return a a depleted battery for a recharged one and swap it out, and then ride and go on with their day. Oh, and I would say that this interaction typically takes less than 60 seconds. So one thing I want to emphasize here is really why these battery swapping cabinets and this system is important. And I think one of the most important parts is that we want certified batteries to be in circulation. As I mentioned earlier, one of the main causes of these fires is really folks using uncertified or non-compliant batteries. And so we want to make sure that's core to this program we put in place. These will also be built in with fire safety features, including fire containment. So through these UL standards, which are nationally recognized fire safety standards, these cabinets and the batteries themselves have to go through simulations of an explosion or simulations of being set on fire and be able to like keep those fires enclosed in the system. So that's one. And then also we want to make sure that we know what the battery health of each individual battery is. These will have proactive monitoring so that we can take any, bad battery out of the system and replace that with like a good battery. Lastly, I just want to mention here that this program is really designed to be financially self-sustaining, meaning that, there will be a membership fee for users to participate in this program, and that will cover operating and maintenance costs for the vendor themselves. And lastly, the vendors will, of course, be responsible for site maintenance and cleanliness of the area. Just this graphic here, these are the this is data from the Department of Consumer Worker Protection. And as you can kind of just see here, the darker blue areas is really where deliveries, most concentration of deliveries are taking place in New York City, primarily on the Upper East Side, Midtown area, such as your district and FIDA. And so a little bit about the site selection process. Where did we consider placing these? We had our priority areas, which are like near bike lanes and near high delivery zones. But of course, making sure we keep clear from things like that you've mentioned previously, bus stops, building entrances, and fire hydrants. And one really important thing that I think you also mentioned in the previous presentation is pedestrian flow, right? We want to make sure that we are keeping New York City moving. Gosh, that thunder. Making sure that the pathway is wide enough for everyone to still access. So we are guided by our pedestrian mobility plan. And some considerations I want to bring up front is really one, the congregation, about congregation, because this technology is just so quick to use. We don't anticipate congregation becoming substantial in our locations. Most of our sites that we're proposing are really in those quick hit areas where they are in the middle of a delivery and just need to change their battery and go off to their next site. On Clear Path, I already mentioned, but we are guided by our pedestrian mobility plan and really want to emphasize how important we know keeping Clear Path is. And of course, I've already mentioned fire safety, but we have been in constant communication with FDNY throughout this entire process and plan to continue talking to them throughout the future process as well. And lastly, on appearance, generally the aesthetics, we want to make sure we're integrating with the streetscape of whatever is already in our system. This is, we want to be part of the system, not a one-off. So here are the 50 proposed sites, and this is, I know, a lot to look at there, but I want to mention here that, these sites will be narrowed down to approximately 25 final locations. And you might see some clustering here, like in downtown Brooklyn, where there's 7 sites. We do not plan to choose all 7 sites there, but give people options on where these could be located. And one of the other things I'll mention here is that this is supposed to be a network, so we want to make sure that they're in usable spaces. So I want to start, I want to just share a couple slides of, how we're thinking about clearances and things that are important to us, such as the Clear Path as you see in this example, which is not in your district, we are making sure we're, oh, sorry.
Our district, because really, I don't want to say we don't care about it, but we don't care about it.
Sorry, do you mind repeating that?
I'm saying if you could move directly to those in our district, that would be helpful.
Sorry, my internet and sound has been a little bit funky. Let me just set up one more time.
No problem.
Do you mind repeating that one more time?
Yeah, so Elaine, so this is helpful just to give us a sense of how you plan on approaching it, but then if you can, once you're done with this slide, if you can just move right to telling us what the proposed sites are in our districts, and only because we have, received a presentation on this from you guys before, so, we are really curious where you're proposing to put these,
Okay.
so,
Great.
go ahead.
Yeah, I will skip to the next few slides, and I have 2 other slides after this, so I'm going to swing back past these slides, and then we can come back and discuss them. So there are 4 sites in your district that we are proposing, and of course, we're still taking suggested locations, right? These are not the final sites; they are just things that we came up with that we think meet all the clearances and also could be viable locations. So this is one on 9th and 55th. This is one on 10th Avenue and West 49th. This one is on 9th Avenue and West 42nd Street. And lastly, on 10th and West 38th Street. So I'm just going to wrap up these slides by talking a little bit about our timeline. Right now, we are moving through, our public engagement and have released our public feedback portal last month. It'll be open until the end of July, and by that time, we want to get through, getting feedback from all of the community boards, including, of course, you all. Get that feedback and finalize those sites later this year. The actual construction or like people being physically impacted by this will not start until early 2027, where we're going to do a little bit of minimal trenching work to just bring connectivity out to the DOT right-of-way, but the cabinet installation won't happen until later that year or even early 2028. So that's pretty much it. If I just want to share this slide, if anyone from the public right now wants to scan the QR code, this is the public feedback portal that we are utilizing to collect information. So we really appreciate your time and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Elaine, and that's really helpful. We'll be sure to, we'll be sure to share this with the community because I'm sure there will be a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
So I think before we turn to questions and comments, a couple of things. One, I do assume we're going to want to take those sites sort of one by one, because I imagine we have specific comments on each of those. But before I open this up to the committee, I do want to just remind everyone, we did receive a presentation on this last year. We wrote a letter from their pilot program, and now they're expanding it. And so we wrote a letter that was describing what we would expect for how these should be cited. We obviously we support this program. We like the idea. It's great. But the things that we said were charging infrastructure for electric bikes must not be located where it requires illegal riding on the sidewalk. The clear path, which it seems like they may be incorporating, that needs to be maintained. We also said this initiative presents an ideal opportunity for DOT, along with its private partners, to implement a mandatory bike education application that the cyclists must engage in before they're allowed to swap their batteries. So we want people to have access to it when they're scanning the QR code to access this. We thought that would be a really great time to have them reminded of the rules of the road. And we have said no advertisement, illuminated or not, should be approved on these cabinets. So those were what we sent to DOT after their initial presentation. And so with that, let's open up. I'm going to open up for general questions, and then I do propose that we take those sites one at a time. Unless Chrissy, go ahead.
Yeah. 2 things. I have a question. So all of these installation are on the sidewalk?
Correct. They will be on the sidewalk.
Okay. When you did the survey, yeah.
Or plaza sites if we've partnered with them.
So a big concern we have, and we have had in the past, is that anything which is on the sidewalk would invite people to ride on the sidewalk. And I see that you are going to make a deal with Con Ed to install electricity, and I think it would be much, much better if you were going to put that on island. We have like big islands, and the islands are typically next to the bike lane. And if you're going to pull electricity anyway, you might have as well pull it on the island, which is next to the bike lane.
Or put them where bike lanes are next to a parking lane and take a parking spot.
Yeah, or in a parking spot, but at least if they need,
Right,
they
you're
need
putting on
the concrete. On an island, you have concrete, so you can put that there and do it. The second thing is that you are suggesting that we install those things where there is a lot of deliveries. And we have had tremendous pushback on aggregation of people. We already have aggregations, so I would go the other way. I would go and put them in places where you are spreading it over and people, for example, if we were going to put them on 11th Avenue, they just have to ride 2 blocks, right?
Right into the gas station.
Right, like a gas station, they ride 2 blocks and it doesn't accumulate on 9th Avenue. I mean, if anybody passed today, you pass the block where we have about, 100 of delivery bikes. So I don't think it's a good idea to bring more aggregation in a place which is already busy, right?
Saturated.
Right. And then finally, I would think that you would always want to have a bike corral next to those installations, so that the people can put their bike in the bike corral, they don't drop it on the sidewalk, and they don't drop it, in the bike lane or whatever. They put it in the bike corral, and next to the bike corral, you have the thing, and then you swap, you go back to your bike corral, and it's clean and organized, rather than just, what I saw there in your picture, it's not totally organized, and if you have a lot like we do, it wouldn't make sense. So these are 3 fundamental comments, I would say, as a guideline for where to put them, so that it's not, it doesn't add to the congestion and the conflict and all of that.
Other comments, questions, concerns?
I have a
Yeah.
So it strikes me that these are pretty expensive. Are there going to be any economies of scale, or are we going to be spending like 6 figures of taxpayer dollars to benefit a private company every time we install one? It's great that they're financially self-sustaining going forward, but this is a private vendor that's benefiting from the program. And we're paying to install them, but
Are we paying for the machine?
it sounds like it, we're paying, it seems like this is gonna cost $3 million, right?
Let's clarify that.
$3 million across.
I think it's $3 million for the whole
program,
program.
so like 100K per.
Yeah, exactly, but like, that's like 25 of them. It
But
wasn't a lot more
let's
than
see,
that.
because I understood that most of the money was going to be spent on Con Ed connectivity. So I just want to clarify whether it is, we are paying, I mean, the city is paying for it.
Right. So yeah, I would like to clarify that the funding is really just going to bringing out electrical connectivity. This is good for DOT because in the future, right, we still have that power and the vendors will have to deinstall their cabinet. So the money DOT is not procuring any of these cabinets. We are kind of allowing these vendors to place their cabinets on top of our right-of-way. And at the end of kind of like the session that they will have with us, then they will be required to, of course, deinstall and make sure it is returned to what it was previously. So I will say that in terms of like how expensive these are.
To interrupt you, but just to clarify, so by bringing the electricity out there, could we turn that site into like an electric vehicle charger in the future, or is it not enough electricity?
Correct. So what we are planning for is making sure we build out. We don't want to, do construction or do a little trenching twice, right? So we are building out extra capacity. So in the future, if we want to co-locate something, or if we want to replace this, because you know how batteries change so quickly over time, right? We can do that. And I think that's like where that funding is going.
Okay.
Pete.
Sorry, I do want to just
No,
answer the other question that was stated, which is like, how much does this cost? Right now, we have not selected our vendor yet, but some of the vendors on the market are charging $2 per day. So this is around $70 per month. And for like our core audience here, which are, e-bike delivery workers, that is, typically something you might spend on like your equipment for work, right? So we do find that we are still going to negotiate with them, right, on the pricing and making sure we keep this affordable. But I do want to put that out there first.
Pete, go ahead.
Thank you for the presentation. There are different brands of bikes out there, different sizes of batteries and different voltage and amperage. What models do you intend to replace each time someone brings in a battery to?
So thank you for, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, are there just a few brands that you intend to replace? Again, there are many different batteries and sizes and voltages. Right. I don't see that footstep that you have there accommodating the various battery sizes and voltage.
Right. This is definitely a great question and something we are considering. The vendors right now that we know are on the market serve multiple e-bike companies, right? So they don't just serve one company, and I think that's an important part that we're writing into really our RFP when we select the vendors. Like, we want to make sure that these batteries really accommodate a wide variety of e-bike companies out there. So I think that is core. I know there are also other models that are like bring your own battery. We are currently not pursuing a bring your own battery system right now, because we really want to ensure that every battery in this system is certified, right? That is probably the most important part, that we reduce those lithium-ion battery fires by making sure the number one cause of them is eliminated. So that is our focus right now.
Yeah, but the connections on each battery is different. When you connect that bike, the battery to that bike, it has to have a certain connection. I can't see just one or two or three battery sizes making that connection at all.
I will definitely take note of that and try to get more answers for you guys.
I saw David put his hand up, and I'll David.
Yes, I wanted to first of all thank you for your work on this. Just wanted to let all the other committee members know, especially when you're concerned about price. I work for the fire department. I've seen the photos, I've seen the reports of these deadly fires where people have lost their lives. It's usually working class people. So I think the modest amount of money that the city is going to spend on this is, it'd be better, yes, if the companies did it, but the companies aren't good. You have to pull teeth to do it. I just think it would be quicker to get the city to initiate it and pay for it, and if we get the companies on board later on, because the quicker this is done, the more lives will be saved. I mean, these fires are deadly. Firefighters can barely go in there when there is a fire, when these things catch on fire in residential buildings or even commercial buildings, but where there's residents in there, there's usually loss of life. So thank you again for the work that you're doing.
I appreciate that, David. Thank you.
Thank you, David. That was helpful. Sam.
Yeah, I just wanted to return to the parking lane comment. I don't really understand why these can't or shouldn't be in the parking lane. We in general have a lot more available parking lane space than we do places as you saw with your many restrictions on where these can go on the sidewalk. There's there's not that much free space, especially like given that the sidewalk is, at least in this neighborhood, like very heavily used and relied on. It seems to me like there'd be a lot more, viable locations to putting them in the parking lane. And there would be some other advantages too, such as, discourage riding bikes on the sidewalk. It might be easier to co-locate them to bike racks. If we wanted to do EV charging there in the futures and using the electricity, that would probably be easier. So yeah, I don't really, and I mean, ultimately, like, there would be like 3 in our district, so that would be 4, so it'd be 4 parking spots. It seems like this would be kind of a no-brainer to just put them in the parking lane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for that comment. I think the main reason why we're choosing to put them on sidewalks is really in terms of like all of these cabinets need like a concrete footing and concrete pad. So in terms of like being able to place more of these out there versus spending more of our, I guess, funding on expanding that concrete going out into the parking lane is one part of it, but I definitely take that consideration. I think also from like the fire safety standpoint, things are a little bit more safe with that difference being on the sidewalk versus like the asphalt. So I think from just like traffic and vehicle, we don't want to place this like right in front like of another parked car or anything like that. So I think that's like another a reason for keeping them on the sidewalk concrete.
Charlie.
David alluded to this, but I just want to say out loud that I do feel like DoorDash and Grubhub should be paying for this amenity for their own workers, and they should have their own facilities where there's all kinds of great amenities for these workers and warehouse spaces all over the city. But that maybe is something we should have said the last time we wrote a letter, but just to say it out loud. Yeah.
Elaine, can we, it may be that we're just not happy with any of these proposed sites because they're all on the sidewalk, but let's just start with the first one and see how we respond.
Yeah.
And
oops, sorry.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, there we go.
So this is 9th Ave and West 55th. All right.
So the first problem we have is West 55th is ground zero for opposition to delivery bike.
Yeah.
And so if there is one place where you don't want to put things, it's there.
Yeah.
Right? The second is a very important discussion about having the super sidewalk. So now the people would have to cross, leave their bike on the super sidewalk, and then charge.
Yeah.
And that is not a good idea.
I mean, that's essentially in our minds, that's the equivalent of putting the thing in the middle of the sidewalk.
So the super sidewalk, in my mind, is a reason not to put anything on 9th Avenue. Because that's, the setup is just going to be really, first of all, it's very congested, we already have aggregation of people. And second, the super sidewalk is going to make it really difficult to not be in the super sidewalk. And we have had, months and nearly years of everybody saying, oh, all the people are riding on the super sidewalk.
Right.
So they are going to ride on the super sidewalk.
I'm not sure, go ahead, Tina.
Yes, what that does is, because I walk there.
Right.
And that says it's okay.
It's okay to do it.
Riding
Yes.
in my walking area.
So I think I agree with you. I think 9th Avenue, the location on 9th Avenue are non-starter because of that. And I would.
Or put it in the concrete that's in this photo. Yeah, or on the island, or on the others, even on the other side without the super sidewalk.
Yeah, the only thing, this is 55 first point, which is everybody, anything which is going to be put on 55th Street people are going to be hysterical about it.
I mean, I live in that building, put it in the concrete.
No, I know, but we have the experience of going through the board and having, executives on the board getting all, So we know that some areas are more sensitive to that use.
It just
So that would be a perfect thing where you go over to 11th Avenue, you put it in 11th Avenue. If people need a swap, they can ride to 11th Avenue. I'm sure with the electric bike, it takes about 3 minutes, you go, you swap, you come back.
Yes, it feels like we really are taking a different approach. I mean, does anyone on this committee feel
I understand
differently?
the argument for like putting them on 9th, that like this is like one of the most restaurants are on 9th and 10th.
Yeah.
And I do think like if we want there to be like high uptake, then they probably do have to be like where deliveries are like getting there. Like, yes, I don't know if even like economically, like the value of food minutes is very high, but just in practice, like humans being humans, you know, if you make something low friction, they will do it. If you make something high friction, they won't. But I do think, I mean, I agree with all the other concerns about
Right.
this, the super cycle
But
bar.
think about it, I mean, you know, today. The gas station in New York City are not in the middle of 9th Avenue.
They're on 11th.
They're on 11th.
But if you don't go to the gas station, your car runs out of gas and you.
Waiting for your bike.
But their other option is to charge at home. That's what we don't want people to do.
No, because they can't go back at home, like if it's the middle of the day, they are not going to go back.
People are
at
doing, people don't have this today and they're still finding a way to drive electric bikes.
Right.
Or ride electric bikes around the city, so they must be doing something, and that probably involves some combination of unsafe batteries and unsafe charging practices.
Well, or to
Charging
carry
at
a
home.
second battery, which the person told us, the
Yeah,
person
which is-
told us, well, we don't want them to carry a second battery, I mean, you know.
Another thing that's like unsafe, so to discourage all of, like,
Right,
with a car, you have no other option, so we can put gas stations in a ever so slightly inconvenient location because. Like, people are not going to be willing to just run out of gas, but unfortunately for electric batteries, there is like another option, so we need to make the right
no, I
choice as
hear
low
you,
friction
I
as
hear you,
possible.
I am personally, I think putting more stuff on 9th Avenue is,
But that's, I mean, that's why I would say like, put it on the island, put it in the parking lane.
Right.
Definitely can't be worried.
At least put it on the side that's not with the super sidewalk,
Right.
like I agree this is not the right location, but. I would say I do see the argument for putting it on 9th and 10th.
I agree. I would prefer 10th rather than 9th even, and there's still plenty of, that's not so
Yeah.
far away. And at least maybe somewhere that's just like one location in our district that's just like a highly visible place, so people start to know that it's there and an option, and then they hear about where the other locations are when that one fills up, but. All right, so it seems like this location might be a non-starter for us, but we will,
let's keep
let's keep going,
the
yeah.
second one. So that's,
10th by the new building that's being
Is there a
built.
bike rack near
it seems to be a bike rack and it would be good to put it on the island, but it doesn't seem to be a concrete island.
That's also an outdated photo because there's a building that's an apartment.
Right, and it's an affordable building, residential building
With
right
the park in
there,
front of it.
which is not necessarily a good idea.
that? Yeah, I mean, this is better than I would say this is better than the last location, for sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and it could be next to the bike, you know, they could build a little island there.
I mean, we want daylighting all over our district. I mean, if we can put these on, you know,
Yeah.
around the corner on 49th between 10th and 11th, just around the corner, and there's a bulb out, and maybe they don't have budget for concrete, but they could put a granite block down there and daylight the corner, make a little bulb. Cause I mean, you wouldn't put a gas pump on the curb because car would.
moving lane of traffic.
You wouldn't put a gas pump by a moving lane of traffic, so you probably should, you know.
That is the main point, right, exactly.
Right. Okay.
So our suggestion here might be to
So-
move this around the corner, although we'll have to take a look, we're, you know, by the way, we'll write a letter to you with our official comments on this, we're just sort of brainstorming right now, so don't take anything directly back yet. We move on to the next one, please?
Yeah. Yep, thank you.
Thank you. So we're back online,
This one is,
it might be,
I mean, this.
I can't.
This is too congested. This is
Yeah.
so congested, and then it's the turning lane, and then there is no island there.
These people are
Yeah.
definitely gonna stop us.
Right.
Like, where else are they gonna go besides the sidewalk?
Yeah.
Right, right.
You'd be like hit.
Yeah, you get hit by a bike or a car.
So I think this is a non-starter at this point.
Okay, and then the next location, please?
So the next location, you see at the other end of that block, going down to 39, there is a bike corral and there is an aggregation already of delivery people. So I would be in favor of putting it at 39 and 10. And put it in next to the bike corral on an island.
How congestion is that with delivery drivers.
I mean, you know, there's nobody on the avenue.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
this
It's
is
a
not,
nice
and the
bit of-
pedestrian flow is very low, so it's not that bad. But there is a bike parking there, and there are some people, although the building, which was a DHL delivery building, is now empty. So maybe the delivery people are gone, I don't know.
Interesting. So obviously, you know, first of all, you know, we take our mandate seriously to not just, you know, comment on these, but to then propose alternative sites, because again, we are in support of this program and we don't want to just so I'm not sure a best way for this committee to get at proposing alternative sites, other than obviously if people have any on the top of their heads right now. But it might be the kind of thing that we.
Well, they were going, I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt, but they said this is 50 proposed, but they're going to do only 25. So let's say if we had 4 proposed and we say we do 2, then we're good.
I disagree with that only because we do have more deliveries that we need. There's a reason that we have more of these sites, and it's because we have so many delivery drivers in our area. So I do think there's a need for probably all 4 sites. It's just, I think we need to find 2 additional sites. And maybe one of them is on 11th Avenue, and maybe one of them is.
Yeah, I had identified
somewhere.
2 on 11th Avenue. That where they have, on 11th Avenue, they have those huge, you know, island. So, on those would be a perfect space.
Yeah.
And so I have the address.
Okay.
I'm not right here.
And then I was thinking maybe 40th, 40th or 41st Street, where by Port Authority.
41st and what?
Oh my God, 10th, 9th, is it that's down here? Down 9th, just down. No, not here, no, never mind. Around, I meant 10th.
Right. On the, against the wall, but this is not, there is no bike lane there, it's a bus stop. So it's on the other side, so you see, this is very close to what you are talking about. If you put that on 9, you are very close to the Port Authority. Back Port Authority.
So, you know, what I think is, you know, we have a week or so to write this letter, so obviously I would, I guess, ask the committee, once they leave here, to go around and be thinking about this as you're walking around the neighborhood, walking around Hellstation, and if you see a corner that you think would be really appropriate for one of these, please let us know.
But I think the idea of doing the neck down.
Yeah, I think that is the
keeping the neck
strategy,
down
yeah.
and putting the bike
It's the
corral.
perfect, it's the perfect
Bike
daylighting.
corral.
Yeah, it's the perfect, I think that should be our priority.
Granite block, a bike rack, like these guys.
But then we want to look at those streets where we have a crosstown bike lane. So what is it? 50.
5255.
5255, so it's
3839.
Yeah. I do want to make sure we hear from members of the public. I see one hand, I see Ron, hi Ron, has his hand up. Can we move Ron over, please? And if anyone else would like to speak from the public, sorry, I should have also in the room, you're more than welcome to, just raise your hand and we'll let us know. We got one here, all right, so, and Missy Adams also would like to speak. So we'll start with Ron and Missy and then we'll move into the room.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, hey Ron, good to hear you.
If oh, here it is. There I am.
And now good.
How are you guys?
Hi there.
I agree with everything you said, Christine, Jesse, Charlie, exactly what I would say. I would like to point out a couple things. We're talking about $75 a month still, which is what the figure was when we discussed this the last few months and months ago. Now, what's the incentive for these delivery workers to pay $75 a month to charge their batteries there instead of at home? There is no incentive. And the only way you get an incentive is you make the apps, as Charlie said, pay for this service, or you make it free and have the apps pay for it and make it free so that they can then do it, because we have to do something to protect buildings, people in apartment buildings, from these explosions. Now, so that's the major flaw in the whole thing, in my opinion. oh, and Elaine, I'm with the E-Vehicle Safety Alliance, just so you know where I'm coming from. We, as Christine said, we agree totally that these should not be anywhere on sidewalks. Now, as I look at the photos of them, these are the same photos I have here. They're about 7 feet tall, are they not?
Correct.
Okay, so you have to be very careful too where you place them for vision of people, you know, not just cars but pedestrians and bikes, etc. So you can see where you're crossing, where you're walking. That's going to block view of that. I would point that out. What is the provision for the? Now these are going to be outside, obviously. They're electrified, obviously, but they're not air conditioned. These units, and
They're temperature controlled because yeah.
Okay, so we're not going to have a problem with the explosions from that. And the other thing that was talked about was the different types of batteries. There are so many different types, but it's not just the types of batteries. It's the connection of the battery, how it is connected. And if you use the wrong connection, even if you're in your charging cabinet, it can fail and explode. Now, we don't want them exploding on the sidewalks. We've been lucky so far with this. We've only had a few from bikes. Now, we don't want big cabinets full of these things charged incorrectly, plugged in incorrectly, because this is something that people are going to do themselves. They're going to unlock it. They're going to do it themselves. There's not a monitor on this.
Yeah, I would just add to that, being that when someone signs up for this program, they are given a battery, actually 2 batteries. So they will only be using kind of batteries that are usable by the system, that are certified batteries. So they're not necessarily plugging in their own battery into this system.
Will it fit their bike?
Yes, so we want to make sure that when we do the RFP and select the vendor, that we're capturing a vendor that has multiple e-bike vendors. This, to your point, it will not encompass all e-bike models. That is correct. What we're trying to do is, we know that there are a few major companies that like these delivery workers currently work with, and we want to make sure we capture a wide variety of different e-bike models that they use to be circulated with this system.
So for example, Mr. Hirschfeld at Pop Wheels, if that's the contract to do this, he gives if they register to use his service, he gives them 2 batteries for free and then charges them $75 a month to charge them in his cabinet. Is that correct?
To swap them. So there's no waiting time for these cabinets. You give back your depleted battery and you take out, the newly charged one.
I'm not saying they're waiting for, I'm saying, but it's $75 a month.
Yeah, correct.
So they're getting 2 free batteries, but they're still being charged $75 a month. That is where's their incentive to do this?
I mean, I take your comment. I would say that the sense of relief that people get knowing that they have certified equipment and that someone else is monitoring it as well is I think part of the incentive.
That's wishful thinking, Elaine, I think. But
Thank you, Ron.
I want to say one thing, Pauline and you all. Thank you all, Department of Transportation, for the signs that have appeared on 9th Avenue. I'm a happy camper. You guys did a great job with those stay off the sidewalk signs. We were thrilled to see them.
The flags and the like lampposts, maybe.
Yes, yes.
Great. Yeah.
I did preaching forever, and now they're there. So thank you guys.
Okay. Thank you, DOT. Thank you, Colleen. Awesome. Thank you, Ron. I think Missy Adams, I think I saw.
I'm so happy that Ron is happy.
Yeah. Me too.
Miracles
Really.
happen.
Missy, you're muted. Go ahead, Missy. Floor is yours. Nope, you were unmuted and now you're muted again. Let's see if I can. Nope, I cannot unmute you. All right, Missy, while you're dealing with your technical difficulties, let's go into the room real quick. Sir.
Yes, so my name is Matthew Robinson. The question I had is with regards to each unit seems to have 12 cabinets. And there's 20 locations, 25 locations. Doing the math, it doesn't seem like there are that many batteries. Then there's 1,000 bike messengers, so it seems like it's underserved, I think. And-
Yeah, I think that's a good point. How long does it take to charge the battery in the cabinet?
So this will really depend on the vendors themselves. So it's not sticking necessarily to 12 cabinets. That is still up to the models that are yet to come out. But right now, I will say general estimate is that although these cabinets have few, actual batteries, they serve like maybe over 100 people per cabinet. That is because there's constant recharging, right? So you don't just charge it like once one person puts a depleted battery in, it is constantly charging for someone else.
So, yeah, but how long does it take to charge one battery?
Probably a couple hours, but that is dependent on the vendor and their technology. So still TBD on exact timing on that.
All right.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Good point. Missy, go ahead. Missy, we still can't hear you, even though you're not muted, but there's something wrong with you, maybe your mic. Unfortunately, we cannot hear you. I'm sorry.
I think you're disconnected and reconnected.
Yeah, maybe you want to try leaving the Zoom and coming back in, see if that works. Or...
Okay.
Oh, wait, Missy, we can hear you now. Hold on.
Can you hear me now? Sorry. Yeah, I had it's green now. Okay. It's just a quick comment preemptively on the request that the stations be sited at the islands by the bike lane. For some of them, it's fine if they're just concrete and there are no plantings. I'm down in Chelsea and I know there's none sited down here, but thinking ahead, we have the gardens in the middle in the bike lane, tree pit gardens. And once the bikers descend on that, we won't have gardens anymore. So maybe just keep it in mind, as going forward. I know the ones up in Hell's Kitchen are largely just concrete footings, but people put a lot of garbage on those. I take the bus down 9th Avenue all the time, and there's always a pile of trash bags at each one. So I don't know how that would be discouraged, even if you put the charging stations there. Although at 43rd Street, there's a ton of delivery guys that just hang out at that one. 23rd and 9th Avenue and 43rd. It seems to be a hangout for the bike. So maybe there, I don't know. But yeah, just trying to protect our little tree pits in Chelsea.
So we'll make sure. Thank you for the comment, Missy, and we'll make sure that in our letter I think that's included as one of their points to keep it away from the tree pits, but we'll make sure that we re-emphasize that. Thank you. And then one more comment in the room or question. Hello. Hi.
Ellen Morris.
Hi, Ellen Morris.
Down in Chelsea. Elaine mentioned that they're going to be taken care of by the vendors, so clean and no graffiti and no garbage around them.
Great
How's that
question.
going to be enforced?
Elaine, did you hear the question?
Yeah, yes, I did. So we have a rigorous, so in the RFP that we're writing, we will have a rigorous requirement for maintenance. And of course, like, how is this going to be enforced? One, of course, there's going to be a fee every time they do not meet those standards, right? So like these are weekly checks with, these areas and ensuring that they are kept clean. I also don't want to see trash around these areas as well, right? So most of these companies are also not the Googles or the Amazons of the world where they can just continuously pay these fees, right? So these will be, I think, highly effective in keeping the areas clean.
Okay, good answer. Thank you. Seeing no other comments from the public, and we still have much on our agenda, so I'm going to try to bring this back to so the comments that I've heard this evening, the letter we'll be writing are again explaining our preference for moving these onto islands or into parking spots, specifically daylighting where possible, to use them as the street infrastructure to actually daylight, keep them off the sidewalks. We have commented on, we've encouraged the vendors to actually be paying for the vendors or the apps to actually be paying for this, covering the cost, full $75, and adding money into this where they can. We have comments on the specific sites. 2 of them are sort of non-starters for us. The other 2 we have slight suggestions for. And then in the course of the next week, as we draft this, we'll try and locate additional possible sites for them. Not near tree pits, and
Bike corral.
and near bike trails. Yes, that's sort of the summary overall. And the letter we would draft. Any issues? Any other comments before we move to motion? Great. Can we get a motion?
Motion.
Second. All those in favor?
Yeah.
Looking online. Thank you. Anyone opposed? Present not eligible. Abstaining. Awesome. Elaine, thank you so much for the presentation. It really is like very informative, and it's an exciting project, and we're happy to be collaborating with you on this and helping you find the right site. So thank you so much for your time, and it was really informative. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Have a wonderful evening. Bye.
Thank you. And thank you for the public comments and questions on that. That was great. Yes. All right, we are going to move on to the third item on our list. I know that there are a lot of people in the public who are here for this. This is the 100 West 16th Block Association to present on their proposal to change locations for the annual Halloween parade. So there's a couple things I want to just note before we get going. Well, sir, first of all, sorry, who will be giving this presentation exactly? Oh, you. Hi. Oh, sorry. What's your name? Hi, Carrie. Nice to meet you. So a couple things. Just to frame this, so, yeah, was that, well, I yes, so before we get there, actually, yes, good point, before we get there, let me first introduce, Hannah Moses, our new, our newest, council member, new chief of staff.
Hi, everyone, I'm Hannah Moses, I'm Councilmember Wilson's new chief of staff. It's great to be here, I used to work for Councilmember Botcher, now Senator. This is legislation and budget director, so I've worked with some of you a bit, but now we'll have much larger role. We are staffing up slowly but surely, so you can expect to have a liaison at your meeting similar to how you've done it in the past. They're just not onboarded yet, but you can expect all that and the A+ customer constituent services that you get from our previous office. We hope to maintain that and be a strong presence and partner with you all. So yeah, I'm gonna be here.
Thank you. Before you present, and when you do, I would ask you to probably come up here actually so the camera can see you and capture you. But I do need to give you some information before you do that. Just to frame this conversation to make it so that you know how we'll be receiving this, which is Christine and I actually met this morning with the 13th precinct and the mayor's street activity permit office to go over your proposal. And now just to quickly set it up, I know this is what you're literally going to describe, but basically this is about the Halloween parade where it lets out. Currently, it is letting out on 16th Street. The floats and all the people who are leaving the parade are kind of dumping out onto 16th Street, and it's 16th and 17th and 18th and the 16th Block Association, and I'm sorry to be stealing your thunder here, but they're asking for that to just move up 1 block north where there's a little bit more commercial. They're like commercial streets, like 19th Street, for example, is a little bit more commercial, and so they're thinking of the residents less. Completely understandable. Unfortunately, we got a very strong no from the 13th precinct and the SAPO, thank you. This morning, their main thing, the number one thing that was a non-starter for them is the fact that the firehouse, the FDNY firehouse is on 19th Street. And so they can't interfere with that and they won't. That being said, and the way we said, well, we gotta figure out something, because this is obviously a problem, is what we said is we would listen to all of your concerns, hear from you exactly how it's all playing out. We don't live there, what exactly is happening, and sort of report to them specifically to bring that to the
mitigation.
To bring these ideas of how we can potential mitigation strategies and bring those to the sponsor of the parade, and then we can all meet in the fall and hope that they will actually implement the mitigation strategies. So basically, We're here to take your concerns, listen to them, and then try to come up with ways. We can't necessarily follow your proposal, but we can try and come up with other mitigation strategies, even if they are being let out on 16th Street. Okay.
I still want to.
Yeah, of course. No, please. No. Please make your whole presentation, but I just wanted to let you know before, sorry.
Very disappointing, but
Yeah.
then I'll go through it and hopefully you'll see why.
Yeah, no, please.
Also, on panel here is Jean Fleming, who is, the head person of the parade. She started the parade. She's been the head artistic producing, person for the parade. So I want to give her an opportunity when I'm done to speak as well, because she approaches it.
Okay. Understood. Do you mind just making your presentation up here again, just so specifically so the microphone can hear you? I just want to make sure that everyone online can hear you. So if you feel free to step over here. Thank you very much.
Behind.
Yeah.
Right.
Great.
Here?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Oh, do you mind staying standing up? Stay standing. Yeah, sorry. Stay standing so that the.
Okay, well.
That's perfect.
Okay. Well, I want to first thank, do you have my presentation that I sent to Janine?
Janine, do you mind?
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Okay, well, I do want to thank you guys. This has been a long, chronic, ongoing problem in the area. So I'd like to thank the Transportation Committee Board for, helping us out. We have the Block Association here, Emma, Matt, and Gabrielle's on Zoom. She couldn't be here. We have Jean Fleming, who's our Halloween Artistic and Producing Director. Hannah Moses from City Council. NYPD, I don't know if they're on here.
They're not gonna be on tonight.
And Safo's not.
No.
Okay. So again, my name is Carrie and I'm an officer on the 100 West 16th Block Association, which covers 16th Street between 6th and 7th Avenue, which is a fully 100% residential block. There's not one commercial thing on the block. That has been part of the Halloween nighttime dispersal route. The Block Association strongly opposes the proposal of dispersal on a residential block of any floats, marching bands, puppets, participants, and supporters. This is not a small neighborhood event. We're talking about a nighttime parade that draws nearly 2 million spectators and between 50 and 80,000 participants, accompanied by amplified music, crowd noise, vehicle traffic, and late night pedestrian activity on an extraordinary scale. Particularly this year, it's a Saturday night. Our block is entirely residential. It is not designed or equipped to function as a post-event crowd corridor for an event of this magnitude. The practical reality of the dispersal route is that it transfers the impacts of the event onto the residents after the parade itself ends, when the crowds are least organized and forced, and cleanup becomes more difficult as people are trying to get home. We had a huge problem last year, and I have videos to show you as well. Residents on our block have experienced hours of sustained nighttime noise outside our buildings, large, uncontrolled pedestrian flows, amplified music, echoing through our residential streets, sanitation and traffic impacts, honking, idling vehicles, blocked sidewalks and entrances, safety concerns for seniors, children, and residents simply trying to access their homes. And even though this year the parade is on a Saturday, when it's during the week and it's a nighttime parade, it's not like the Pride Parade, which we also have to deal with. It's not like the Stamps Festival that we just had this past weekend. It's a nighttime parade that starts at 7 o'clock at night and doesn't fully disperse till 11 o'clock. People have to work the next day, children have to go to school, and the residential block is dealing with the brunt of this. And we're not designed, and we don't have the infrastructure to really deal with it. I also want to emphasize that this does not exist in isolation. Our neighborhood is also host to major parades and events, including the New York City Pride Parade, the Dance Parade, many street fairs, the TD5 Borough Bike Tour. So we get slammed a lot. Residents are already absorbing repeated disruptions, street closures, crowd spillover, noise, sanitation, and traffic impacts throughout the year. This one being the all-time worst. it is unreasonable to continually layering additional large-scale events that burden the residential streets without seriously considering the effect on the people that actually live here year-round. And it was extremely disheartening that it was a flat-out no, without taking into consideration any of the things that I just mentioned. There are other blocks further up north that are completely.
We want you to show the slide.
Yeah, let's share the slide. Have they done an analysis on the noise impact? Well, this was just the petition on our block. These were the people that signed. So this is the block that we're talking about, fully 100% residential. When you go up 17th, 18th, 19th, I understand, but there's east, there's between 5th and 6th. The parades can disperse on some blocks east and some blocks west 6th Avenue. It could also be extended, the parade. Previously, up until the Bloomberg administration, the parade went up to 23rd Street, I believe, and Gene Fleming can talk to that. So it was during the Bloomberg administration for budgetary reasons for NYPD to have the manpower to cut it and make it shorter. For a parade that is televised, broadcasted, has millions of people that come. It's a tourist attraction. It's on the New York City tourist guide, things to do in New York. So it's just kind of like, why are they shortening the parade when they can actually extend the parade? But I'll let Jean talk about that because she has been the artistic producing director of the parade for 46 years. She started the parade. So if you can go to the, okay, so 15th Street between 5th and 6th is commercial and residential. 15th Street between 6th and 7th is mainly residential. 16th Street between 5th and 6th is a combination.
That's how you're getting these.
I canvas, I live there. Let's go to the next slide and I could show you. On 15th Street, these are just some of the the commercial businesses that there. This is 15th Street between 5th and 6th. So there's not a lot of commercial businesses. It's mainly residential 15th Street. If you go to the next slide, 16th Street between 5th and 6th has Xavier Church, Xavier School, the Center for Jewish History, print shop. So it has a heavy commercial, businesses there. 16th Street, nothing. It's fully residential and one power substation generator at the end of the block. You go to 17th Street. 17th. There's a school, there's an AT&T store, there's salons, there's Pilates stores, there's restaurants, etc. Housing Works, Courier Card, as we go up further, we get to more commercial. Once you go to 18th Street, it's fully commercial. If you can go to 18th. Janine, can you go to 18th? Adorama, Old Navy, Old Store Flint, it goes on and on. There's a big union there, Alchemy Records, Metropolitan Pavilion, West Elm, Container Store, so you can see these are not densely populated with residential, it's more commercial.
Aren't all of those first floor businesses or just residential above them?
There are some,
majority.
there are, well, like.
I don't know that I'd call it fully commercial.
Metropolitan Pavilion, there's nothing on top of there. This is a fully, an entire building, it's a union, 32 BJSEU.
It's like a little bit more helpful to use zoning, because there's like R4. There's specific zoning categories. Okay,
Sorry,
that's
let
fine.
you finish. No, it's fine.
That's fine.
We'll ask questions, but let me let you finish here.
Okay, but it's more like there's no
I see
commercial, okay? It is, I guess if you're living there on a residential block and you chose to live on 18th Street, you have to know that there's a lot of commercial businesses, there are schools, there's so on and so forth. 19th Street, you're right, there is, and that was a consideration. I understand that the fire truck needs to get out and have access. But that's between 6th and 7th. There's 19th between 5th and 6th. Everything, I don't know why anything is going west and not going east.
So So, sorry, I don't mean to, but the most helpful thing for us to see is the diagram. So Janine, if we can go back to that, I just want to make
The
sure.
map?
Or the map, sorry. But I do want to make sure that sort of everyone
let's go back
understands
to
what's being what's currently happening and then what's sort of being asked of us, although again, they said no, but I think there are some, I already have some ideas, I think, of how we could maybe figure this out. But Janine, do you mind going back to the map, please?
Sorry, say that again?
Do you mind going back to the map, please? The diagram. There we go. So currently, the main exit from the parade is 16th Street there. My understanding from the NYPD is they try to make all of the floats go west and all of the people and bands and everything else go east, because anything that has traffic that needs to drive, they try to go drive it west to the West Side Highway to get it out. So what they do is they have 16th Street and they have 17th Street and they use 18th Street as an overflow if it's super crowded. That's how all three of those streets are utilized, with 16th Street being the main street and then subsequent to that. So the ask here is to move this entire stretch just up one and start at 17th Street.
But 16th Street goes east, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so if they put anything on 16, they can't go direct to
Yeah, they can.
Well, the streets are closed, so they can if they're the street is closed, they can take a float and then take where they need to go. But
I just want to speak about enforcement of the, you just told me what the plans are.
Right. Well, so that's the mitigation strategy, right? So that's something that we're definitely gonna comment on. Let's make sure we finish this.
Bands will disperse on 16.
Yeah.
General public will disperse on 16.
Right.
Official parking will be loaded on 16.
It's a very helpful diagram. Correct.
Extremely residential, 100% residential.
Understood. So
no other block that they disperse on is 100% residential.
Understood. So understanding that, and I want to let your co-presenter speak as well, but understanding that basically they need 3 blocks worth to fully capture the spillover of this parade. So people leaving the parade and then an extra block of spillover, but also knowing that they are not allowing us to move up to 19th Street this year. And I will say, I mean, I'm not here to defend them or speak on their behalf. It's just they're not here, and we were only able to meet with them this morning. And on top of their many concerns, there's a couple other things we're dealing with this year. One is that it's a new person taking over who is never this is their one and only year doing this. But 2, it's their main, I think the main thing that they're really worried about in terms of making any changes this year is because the very next day is the marathon. And so this is like the most resources the NYPD will ever have to use in one 24-hour period.
Oh, and then a couple of days later is the primary.
Right. So
election.
So they are they're a little strapped for resources, and so I think that's why. Again, he really did come out and say, like, flat out, absolutely not 19th Street, unfortunately. But I do have already some ideas on how we can mitigate, but we do want to hear your other enforcement concerns. But so let's just really quickly hear from your co-presenter, and then I can guide a conversation.
Okay, Jean.
Hi. Hello, I'm really sorry I'm not able to be there visually. It just didn't seem to work for me to get the program going. So I want to first thank Carrie for the incredible work that she's done on this presentation. She's really worked hard on it, and she worked hard to understand all the issues that are involved. I want to mention I did not start the parade. I've only been running it for the past 46 years. It is the 53rd annual parade, so there were 7 before I took it over. Ever since Bloomberg cut all parade routes back, I've been petitioning the city to extend our route. And one of the reasons is that, unlike, for example, the dance parade, which has very low attendance, we have an enormous audience, and we need space for audience as well as for everything else. I also like the commercial streets where we used to end, which was 20, 21, and 22. And it worked much better for everybody. So I've been asking for this for a long time, and unfortunately, as you heard today, I've been told no every time that I ask every year, I ask for this, and it's almost become a standing joke, actually. At the police meeting, I ask for it and they all just laugh at me. I would like to see this change as well, so I support it. I think one of the problems is that in terms of things going west on 16th Street, we have a plan to only send about 1,000 people on 16th Street, but the police do not do that. They, for whatever reasons, and I've talked to them in the past, and I'm going to bring it up again this year, they don't keep moving when 16th Street fills east, going east, where the public is supposed to go. They're supposed to move a plastic fence up to 17th Street and let people go up to 17th. And when 17th fills to 18th Street. In recent years, they haven't been doing that. And I don't know why. Our marshals, who are excellent, my marshals are the people who run World Pride. They really know what they're doing, and they've been working with me for 30 years. The police won't listen to them. And so instead of sending everyone east, they start sending people west. And they do it particularly on 16th Street because they don't seem to pick up those barriers and move them up to 17th and 18th. If they were to do that, it would definitely help the problem that is happening on 16th Street. And so I'm going to speak to them about it again and hope that this year that they will do it. But there's been very little to do. We're aware of the problem, and we've talked about it over and over again. The former chief, Pat McGuire, is a close friend of mine, and I've talked to him just a couple days ago about this, even though he retired. And he says the new people are good. I was hoping perhaps that there was a chance that they might change this year. Especially Saturday night, there'll be larger attendance at the parade. We need the space for people to be able to come and see the parade. And use getting this off of the pedestrians, the non-commercial street. I've never liked that. I've always wanted it off residential.
I really appreciate it. I appreciate that perspective. I think we all do, and that's very helpful. And I think we should be getting into the specifics of these enforcement issues. So that's really helpful. But I do think by coming here, and the process is like we are here to, sort of have your back in these meetings, so that come your formal meeting, we did ask that when they do have the meeting in September about the parade, that we are present and that we're part of it. And from our conversation tonight, we will be writing a letter with the specific mitigation requests that you all have. So
can you go to the last slide so I could just show you?
Oh, sure. Sorry. Janine, can you just go to the very last slide and then we'll move into conversation here?
Oh, yes. This is my sheet of who actually goes down 16th Street. And if you see, there's 1,000 people. And this is over the course of 4 hours.
Wait.
Okay, thanks, Jan. Janine, do you mind just moving, I guess, backwards a couple slides?
One slide. Okay. So next one. Next one more up. Okay. So this is everything that's coming down 16th Street. 60 people with sound cards, the samba bands, the hula hoopers, the drumming, the dance, on our block. And then you saw the next one. This is what disperses on 16th Street. I also sent Janine a video that I took last year, because it has gotten exponentially worse because it's a very popular parade. So it's like, I'm wondering if she can play the video so you can see the visual of it as well. If not, I have it on my phone.
Janine, do you have the video handy? And then
it's in the drop.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. Yeah, just give me 1 second.
If only the folks who's supposed to go down the street went down the street, it would not be the same kind of problem. But the police send others down there that should not be sent there.
Yeah, we got it.
All right. So we'll take a look at this. I think we get the gist of how bad it is. I mean, I can understand with all tens of thousands of people walking down your block, not going to be the most enjoyable experience.
No, not when it's in your backyard.
Sure.
I love the parade, but not when it's like it's a continuation of it.
Janine's gonna play this.
This was just me. It's a 2-minute video, just so you can get, is the sound on?
Is there a sound?
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
The sound is important.
We don't have the sound, Janine.
Sounds strange.
Okay, I can play it from my phone.
I watch this every year.
Yeah.
Let me do a skeleton. Or a pumpkin.
I should mention the bands are told to stop playing at 15th Street.
Oh, well, which they don't. Okay, so I'm gonna play it on my phone since you can't.
That's okay, that's a parade, we know.
Yeah, it sounds like.
No. You're standing.
It says maybe parade. Presidential block, totally unacceptable. Howard.
Okay, I think we have the gist, thank you. Thank you for sharing, very loud, I think we can take.
Okay, you get the picture, right?
Yeah, judicial notice if you will, well, it is loud.
No, we didn't even get to the marching bands, so the marching bands, they loudspeakers.
So we need to develop a list of things that we would want the NYPD to do to basically improve and increase their enforcement, and of course, try to push pedestrians, marching bands onto the more commercial blocks. I think that does make sense. I don't know if it's possible or was thinking, but like, it does seem sort of strange to me that it doesn't have to be this way where the overflow is the last block. The overflow could actually be 16th Street and have people dispersed primarily on 18th. And if that gets too crazy, work backwards. I don't know if that's possible. But that's one idea or suggestion I have. But are there other, I mean, if you don't, what specifically?
Street unless you go.
Right, like we have to go to 23rd, yeah.
Somewhere that's a commercial.
Yeah,
You can't
right.
go to essentially zone this one.
But, so I have a question.
So it's more
Is
about
there-
enforcement.
I think so, or commercially zoned.
First, you said the police does not direct people to go to the east,
Well, last year, there were just one,
like residents.
there was the barricade, the steel
Right.
barricades on between 6th and 7th. And they were just one police officer on one side and one on the other. When I went to them, they didn't have enough manpower, first of all, to handle it. And if this year there's a marathon and.
So, wait, let's stick to the issue. The issue is, we have, they put barricade along the entrance from, the ring is on 7th Avenue, right?
They put barricades on 6th and on 7th.
Right, so on 7th Avenue and you are between 6 and 7. Right, so the parade is on 7 or on 6?
6.
6, so, and is there any barricade between 6 and 5?
No, on the east side, there are no barricades in the sense of the people. There are 80,000 people in the parade. So they go on east on 16th, 17th, and 18th over the course of 4 hours. So those streets are not barricaded to allow them to be wide open so that people can walk down the street easily.
So when we say that people should be moving east, they can move east, there is no barricade.
It's the marching bands, it's the floats, it's.
Okay, but it's not the people, I'm trying to clarify something that I thought I understood, which you said, they are stopping the people and sending them here where they should be sending them there. And I didn't understand what you were talking about.
If I had my way and our block had our way, there would be nobody coming down our block.
No, we understand that.
Because whether it's people
We
who are
understand,
hooting and
but
hollering.
if we can't get to that this year,
Right.
then, although I actually am curious for Jean, Lime, why? Instead of extending the parade, why didn't we ask for them to just cut the parade a block short and have people dump out onto 14th Street? Why isn't that the ask?
We would still have to do, it's already, the parade is too short, in terms of general attendance and population. But 14th Street is the most heavy block on the entire parade route. Stopping the parade then at 13th Street would make it even shorter, which would mean more crowding. The more crowding, the more possibility for something to go wrong. for there to be a problem. And one of the things that protects this parade is the interaction between the audience and the participants. It's a very happy, what they call a feast crowd. It's a very happy crowd. But when you start to get too many people in too small a space and they can't see and they can't interact, it gets too tight. That's when you start to have problems. And that's why I have been asking for this parade route to be put back to its normal length since 2013, I think I've been asking.
So let me finish my thought. I know I was confused. So people are going up 7th Avenue and they are pushing essentially people. 6th Avenue. And they are pushing people between 6 and 5. The people, not.
Correct.
If we were going to ask to push the marching band to the east, that would make a huge difference.
Yes.
So if there was one ask, it would
Yes.
be the marching band being moved to.
The marching band
toward
east.
east.
Because the people follow, it's like a continuation of the parade.
So people follow that.
Yes.
Right. So the marching band directing them over there. So today there is a barricade. How is the marching band going onto between 6 and 7?
They are.
But there is a cop and.
Yeah, they're letting them through.
As
Okay.
soon as
That's-
as soon as
the
they
check.
finish playing and they load their instruments into their cars, the ones that have cars, not all of them have cars. Some of them do. They leave.
So we need to ask the cars, I mean, we need also to ask the guidelines to say, you have to park between, you know, 6 and 5. And then the people would generally go there and then
Because on the map, you'll see the official parking for the parade vehicle,
Right.
where they upload everything and they.
So that should be, we should try to
And-
do all of that
and-
stuff between 6 and 5.
Yes.
Move everything.
That's a big.
Yes, that would help a lot.
That would be a big mitigation if we can get that for this year. Or maybe next year, I mean,
Yes,
just like.
I think it would, Jean, do you agree?
I'm sorry, I
Jean, do
couldn't
you agree?
understand. The screen kept seizing up and I couldn't understand everything. I keep seizing up. Can you hear me? So you have to separate the formal participants from the general participants. And that's
Where did the parade used to go up to, Jean?
It used to go to 22nd Street and the dispersal streets were 22nd, 21st, and 20th. So
these are the streets.
bands were used to be on 20th. Official parade elements were on 21st and 22nd was for floats. No floats go on 16th Street, by the way. They're much too large and they go to 18th. Right now they go to 18th Street.
So I think we got at least one strong ask, right?
See, it wants
right away and say, if that is to say you put a second cup there, you stop anybody who has a band and send them over there.
But also to Jean's point, once they moved they shortened the parade, it became normalized and it's like, it's not going back. Bloomberg, de Blasio, Eric Adams. So, you know, let's get it back to where it was. As she said, it's maybe the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, which is a daytime parade. This is a nighttime parade.
So if we can't move this year though, again, we want, so, you know, and one of the things that was obviously just asking for more police presence on these particular blocks so that, you know, if people are congregating and not moving through it, if they're stopping, if they're loitering, that there's police presence there to keep people moving. If there are bands that are still playing there.
No, that isn't so much the problem as when the street feels they should move to the next street which is what they're not doing. They're trying to send 80,000 people east on 16th Street and it backs up very quickly. They should move then to 17th, send them there. If that backs up, then move it up to 18th Street. By the time you've done that, 16th Street has cleared out. Then you can go back to 16th Street, but they're not doing that.
More quickly move people, close off 16th Street, better traffic management and have people start moving up to.
And better signage. I think a lot of these people are probably tourists and they don't know the street numbers or which direction they're going.
It's also a little concerning that Patrick McGuire is not here anymore and a new person is in town who, you know, you met with today and doesn't have that kind of know,
I mean,
knowledge.
he seems perfectly capable and
That's good
competent.
and bad,
Yeah.
right? Because he doesn't know the past and then
Oh, yeah.
doesn't take things for granted, maybe,
Right.
maybe.
And again, it sounds like we will all have the opportunity to meet with them in person
Right.
where you will certainly be there, we will be there. And so, this will be hashed out more, but now is the time for us to be brainstorming these ideas. So are there any other enforcement or mitigation strategies that we can include in our letter to get this conversation going for now?
Well, I just wanna stress that I don't think that any, whether it's the public, the citizens, or any participants of the parade should be on a residential block. A fully 100% residential block. It's a nighttime parade, unlike Pride Parade, because the Pride Parade ends on 16th Street. It
Right.
goes west on 7th and it goes up. It's not disruptive and it's during the day and it
Right.
ends at like 5 o'clock. And then they do fireworks on the West Side Highway.
So we will definitely reiterate in our letter that this is these are residential blocks and yeah.
One more, is there an opportunity to have the parade ends at 15th Street right now, right?
Correct.
Is there an opportunity to take the parade and make it turn east and disgorge on Fifth Avenue?
Right, turn east on 14th Street and just go down.
14th or 15th?
Or actually turn down 14th would be
Right.
better, to have it turn down 14th, have people
And go
on the sides on
Fifth
14th
Avenue.
and then dump out on Fifth Avenue. That's a good idea.
Is there any reason?
I don't see any reason. Jean might. The
Jean,
parade-
can you hear us?
I mean, so you're thinking the formal elements would still disperse off of Sixth Avenue between 6th and 7th, but the public would be turned east on 14th Street. And then, you need more than one street to disperse on. And again, 14th Street it is a subway stop. It's like everything. It's where a lot of people come to watch the parade and leave.
Yeah. I mean,
We used to do that. We used to actually go east, go by the public theater, go up, all of that, but that's many, many, many years ago, many years ago.
All right, well, thank you for bringing this to our attention, and obviously we want to engage with you on this. We're writing a letter, incorporating all of the different, reiterating your concerns and, the real concerns that you have. Including all of the suggestions you have to, obviously, we will note that this is your formal ask, but if we can't get that, these are our mitigation suggestions and enforcement suggestions. I'm not gonna go through them again, but is everyone comfortable with us writing a letter to DOT copying the parade, DOT, to the NYPD, copying the parade organizers, SAPO? And any other, sorry, there's someone in the public.
I was just about to point that out. I'll bring them over.
Sorry, Roberta, come on over.
Excellent work. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, I wish I could have been here in person, but
no problem.
Didn't show up. It wouldn't work. Thank you.
Okay.
You're opening up to the public.
Yeah. Go ahead, Roberta.
So I just want to say that, West 16th Street has historically been the stepchild of the 13th precinct. We are at the very edge. In fact, when they have their monthly meetings, they are always on 2nd Avenue. And we used to alternate between West Side and East Side. They stopped doing it. All of the meetings are on 2nd Avenue and there are Zoom meetings. So people who are disabled cannot participate. So although we do have a precinct 4 blocks away, this is old history, but I was not surprised when they just said no. I think there is one very simple solution, and that is move it 1 block east. Disperse on the blocks between 6th and 5th, where there is much less residential, and a flat no to thinking about any kind of solution is incredibly upsetting and very demoralizing. And I'm hoping that this, that CB4 can do something, because Christine knows we've gone through stuff like with, if you remember, Christine, the bus across 16th Street. This street is treated as the stepchild. And I don't think that the 13th precinct gives one iota about what happens on this block. It is horrendous. The noise level, I'm on the 6th floor, and the noise level from this parade is deafening. And that goes on till all hours of the night. And like sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning, you cannot call for a noise complaint. They will not come. So we are trapped. What I try to do is to get out of town every year, because I can't enjoy this parade because what it does to us and everybody on this block. And God forbid you need an ambulance or a police car or something, you are out of luck. It is out of control. And the fact that they can't tell you that they're going to put the correct officers here to manage this, to get this under control, is also very upsetting. So I'm hoping you guys can write a really strong letter. And I hope when you meet with them, you can have some of the residents on the block who have lived through this attend the meeting.
Thank you, Roberta. I appreciate that. We will write a strong letter, and I do think we will try to incorporate, alternative ideas that we've had, not beyond, the mitigation and enforcement requests. We will say there are other solutions to this on where this parade can go and how it can navigate, and they should be engaging with those ideas seriously and not just rejecting them. I agree with you, and the letter will say as much. And if everyone is okay with that, then no problem. Thank you. Can we take a vote?
I just think that it's like a cut and paste thing. This was the detail from last year.
Well,
And it's easy for them to just be like, we're gonna do the same thing and normalize it every year.
So we will engage with you on this. Thank you very much. Let's take a vote. Is there a motion? Thank you so much. Motion?
Yes.
Second. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Abstaining, present, eligible. All right, thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys sticking out. We do have still more items on the agenda, so I gotta keep moving.
Thank you
I'm
so
very
much.
sorry.
job on the
Yes,
survey.
really, you really did a lot of work.
Very
Really,
impressive.
it was really easy to read and understand.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda, Sullivan Street Bakery, parking regulation change to 47th Street, and I understand there are props. They're in 47th Street. Hello, how are we doing? Great.
Thank you all.
Thanks, good night.
Take me on the rafters. What?
Yes. Thank you so much.
I'm super steward.
For anyone who's here for the, I'm sorry, guys. We'll be next, though, if you're able to listen to me.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. That's fine. I think the camera was strangely not picking her up right here, but there, I think, give it a try this. We're new to this space, so we're still figuring it out. But I'm gonna turn it over to you, if you don't mind introducing yourself and introducing this topic, and your slideshow is up and ready to go.
Great, thank you. Thank you for having me. My name is Maya. My husband and I are the owners of Sullivan Street Bakeries. We also live there, we've lived there since 2011, and we've raised our family there. So 3 kids, 1 dog, 1 snake. I mention this because we experience the block not just as a business, but as residents. So we park cars there, we walk our dog late at night, we're up early in the morning, kids go to school, so we're there all the time. Many of our friends live on the block. One of them is very kindly here tonight. Thank you. So, what do I do to go to the next slide?
You want just ask Janine. Janine, next slide, please. She's truly the wizard behind it all. Yeah.
Thank you, Janine.
Oh,
If you don't mind going one more ahead. Thank you very much. So I will keep this short. I know it's late. Thank you all for being here. So for those of you who don't know us, we are a Roman style wholesale bread bakery. We do have a cafe in front of the wholesale business. So that's how most people experience us, is through the cafe. We do have another small cafe in Chelsea on 9th Avenue, and we bake everything on 47th Street, and things that we sell in Chelsea, we deliver there. But those 2 businesses we love, the retail experience, but most of how we stay in business is selling the wholesale bread to restaurants, small grocers, and hotels around New York City. So to that end, we have 3 bread delivery vans. And we've had 3 vans since we've been in Hell's Kitchen since 2000. Janine, could you please go to the next slide? This is one of our vans and our bread, and we'll do, this is a good reminder to say that we deliver our bread because we bake everything fresh every day. So we deliver 7 days a week, 364 days a year. So we are always baking, always moving, always delivering, unless there's some kind of catastrophic weather event, and then we stay off the road. Okay, next slide, please. So this is our building right here, and there is currently, the picture on the left shows that there's a truck loading only zone. So this extends from that sign right there all the way to this sign right here. It's 75 feet. It's beautifully marked. There's a yellow stripe on the sidewalk, which doesn't come out very well. And in the exact middle of the loading zone right here, there is a fire hydrant. So if we are being good citizens, which we try to be, we can have 1 vehicle loading in there and 1 vehicle loading in there. Very often, there is someone else in the loading zone, or a few people in the loading zone. Commercial vehicles, sometimes people just park there straight up. Sometimes there's moving vans, all kinds of things happen there. So it can be chaotic, but we know we don't own the street, so we make do. Janine, could you go to the next slide? Things get very hairy these days when we have a flour delivery. So every 3 to 4 weeks, we receive about 50,000 pounds of flour in one of these silo trucks. And it's a pneumatically operated, so all of this is full of flour, and it is all pumped in through this hose into our silo. So the truck itself is 75 feet, so it barely fits in the loading zone. And even when the loading zone is empty, there's often someone who is parked into it, so they're not fully parked in it, but their car is, the sign is here, their car extends 4, 5, 8 feet into it. And so when that happens, and we have a flour delivery and don't know who's parked there, the flour truck is blocking, it extends past our loading zone, past our property, into the egress from the Cadillac dealership. So I don't know if you saw it in the last slide, if not, we can go back, but there's the loading zone begins here, and there's a driveway right here. So our flour truck often blocks the Cadillac driveway. Thank you, Janine, which is coming out right here. So that's the sign, the driveway. There's about 2 inches in between. So we're very friendly with our neighbors at Cadillac, luckily. And so we work it out with them too. When we have a flour delivery, which lasts a few hours, they're not happy and we're not thrilled to be blocking them, but we all make do. But they would very much love for us not to be blocking them, and we would like to not be blocked. So this brings us to our first request, why we're here, is could we extend our loading zone? We can't go to the west because that's where the Cadillac exit is from their workshop, but theoretically we could go to the east. Most of the street on both sides is parking, depending on how many people are parked and what kind of vehicles and how well they park. So about 70 to 75 parking spots, including the northern side. So we would be, if we did that, it would eat up a parking spot, but it does seem like there are a good number. As I did a walk this morning, and as of this morning, there were 41 cars parked on the south side and 24 cars parked legally on the north side. There were a few stragglers that were parking ways I would have parked, but they were there. Janine, could you go to the next one, please? And the next one.
So cool.
Thank you very much. So this was a perfect day on the left when someone parked, not only behind the sign, but a little bit extra behind the sign, This is just another illustration of how the truck on that perfect day was able to be in our loading zone and not blocking the entrance. And this is an example of even when the flower truck is not there, sometimes we are really congested, trying to load and unload vans, especially in the morning. And there's often other vehicles double parked on the street and traffic can be a real mess. So we would love to not be contributing to that mess.
And your full size, your flower truck blocks the fire hydrant even if you're fitted. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure what to do with
Yeah, no,
that.
that's
Yeah. That's this.
Okay.
Is this a next slide or?
Next slide, please.
Okay. There's another one.
Okay.
I think it's very specific. Thank you. You can just,
Okay.
we have this in.
Okay, next slide, please. Were there, before I move on to this, questions?
No.
No, very straightforward.
So, second request is more of a question than a specific request. We've never engaged with transportation matters like this, so we're not entirely sure what to ask for. Our vans for over 20 years, from the time that the bakery first moved to Hell's Kitchen from Soho, parked in an outdoor lot on 45th Street in between 11th Avenue and the West Side Highway. It was a great lot. It was really close. It was wonderful. The vans fit. That lot closed a couple years ago and is now being developed. Next slide, please. This is what it is now on the left. And when that happens, we went to every parking garage and lot in the neighborhood, even some out of the neighborhood, to find a new home for the vans when we're not using them. And this isn't for like 12 hours at a time. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 5. Because our routes are 24 hours a day, they really, come and go a lot. So it's helpful to have them nearby. But we could not find a single place that could take our vans. Indoor places, they're too tall. Outdoor places do not like to host vans, especially ours, because they're so long. Some places said no, in addition, because they come and go. So they're not being parked for 8 hours at a time. So since that lot has closed, we have been leaving our vans when they're not in use in front of the bakery in the loading zone. This doesn't feel like a great solution, but I don't have another. Sometimes we're able to park one of our vans in front of the Cadillac dealership when don't have operating hours. They're very kind about that. We've asked them if we could park our vans in their dealership, which they actually said yes to, but sadly they don't fit.
Wow.
So we are wondering if there is a way to take any part or all of the existing or requested loading zone and turn that into a place where our vans could legally be there, not in motion. Next slide, please. These are some of the things we've seen in and around the neighborhood. This one's actually on the Upper West Side. And I don't know if this would help, if these things are possible, but we wanted to ask.
Yeah. The parking, sorry, it's an issue between just commercial parking and obviously loading, but if we give you commercial parking if we change the whole thing, the parking rather than loading, I assume, who else is using the loading? So you said there are other businesses on the street who are using loading.
The other businesses on the street don't use our.
Don't use, you're the only one who uses your loading.
But contractors like a.
Yeah, but if there's an HVAC company going somewhere on the street or 2 streets away, they'll take it, or a plumber, or a moving van.
Is there any obvious reason why we couldn't request to turn this to parking?
But I mean, if we request like a commercial, 3 hours parking, first of all, they're going to have to pay for it, right? They have to install a measure. And then I'm concerned that other people are going to use it.
Right.
So the truck loading is very specific, but have you ever gotten a ticket because you left your truck there?
This is a very interesting question. Normally, we don't get tickets because when the parking police come by, they see Sullivan Street Bakery van, Sullivan Street, and very often, even when they're parked,
they're kind of delivering.
Yeah, we're getting things organized, we're about to load. But we have been told by one of the very kind parking attendants that someone on the street has complained that we were parking there, and so they feel obliged to come and give us a ticket. I don't know who that is or why they would want to do that, because it's not like they can park there. So we have gotten tickets, and if you think the best thing to do is just leave it a loading zone, then
I think so. I think
we'll
that's
stick with that.
the best, and you can challenge the ticket saying we were loading. I mean, I know it's a pain in the neck, but that can be the, because otherwise the other option is going to open the space to other people. And you're going to have to put,
No, that's fair, or could we divide the thing and give them try to make one spot, a commercial parking spot, and then. The rest of it
Everybody
be
are
loading
taken
zone?
by something, somebody.
Yeah,
It's
just figure it
not
out.
a lot, it's already too big. It's not peaceful, what they need is more space and if you're.
Right, yeah, this is everyone, this is a brainstorming session now.
I mean, I feel like it's a no-brainer to extend the load.
Right, yeah, that was-
You don't need
that's the
71 alternate site parking spots on this lot. So that's great.
Yeah.
And, I feel like.
It's been moving very quickly, by the way.
I worry that there's sort of a precedent if we sort of formally say they can park their vehicles here, because then there are a lot of other businesses that might want to park their vehicles, and obviously this is a special
No, we're not
situation.
saying that.
Right, no, but say if we did some formally, but.
We're not saying that.
I mean, I also, I don't know how often you're getting tickets or what the cost of the tickets are.
It's not
But
super often.
I mean, how does that compare to what you were paying on 45th Street? Like, is it kind of a cost of doing business
Right.
where, it's unfortunately how Amazon treats our streets, it's a cost of doing business to.
Speaking of which, I have not seen a sign like this before, and I think we can get to the bottom of.
Where
why
is this one?
Broadway and 79.
What?
Broadway and
Broadway.
79, is it can I ask, is it a lot of delivery drive, when you saw the sign, did you?
It was early in the morning
Okay.
and there was a sign and I had no idea.
There was
what it
I'm guessing it's a
pilot program
loading,
there.
yeah, but I'm guessing it's a loading, unloading zone for the bike delivery
Yes.
drivers and not.
It's micro.
The micro.
Micro.
So it's probably a slightly different thing.
It's a different, everything is a different thing,
Yeah.
and it doesn't apply to you. And I don't know, I think we may do, the truck loading is good. So I think we should extend the.
Yeah, and I don't know.
It wouldn't, I mean, would it kill us to ask if they could convert one of the alternate side street parking spaces into commercial parking? I mean, there's other business, like the Cadillac dealership might need to park a truck at some point, like it doesn't.
So you mean I take
In addition to the-
first extend and second create the commercial.
Yeah.
Because that's where piece of cake moving could park there, or the HVAC contractor could park there instead of illegally.
Yeah, we can.
Right, the HVAC contractors really parked, not loading, because they're gonna be in there.
Right, which.
Right.
It's great.
So we would have to add one.
So we can add two.
Well, I don't wanna, I don't wanna, there's a balance here, the residents who are used to parking on the street. Yeah, but the thing is, one commercial spot takes up two cars worth, I think, so that's why. So, right, just saying, I'm not, trying to make a bet before we completely do it, see, maybe we want to do one first, see how it works, and then, thank you.
I mean, I don't know the block.
Because you guys don't get the emails we get with pitchforks of the people who are their car, they're parking up here, so.
But I think it's a really good idea to ask for the extension of the loading so that you have
Yes.
one more 25 and then ask for an additional commercial.
Yeah.
Parking.
Is there a
3
commercial in
hours.
front of Cadillac, like, is that?
They have a few areas that are marked no parking at all, even though obviously their driveways are no parking, but there is a space in between the driveways that just says no parking, so they use that when they need it.
For parking.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
So that'll be it, we'll ask for the change to extending the zone and one commercial parking spot on the street.
I make a motion.
You make a motion, wait, sorry, I gotta ask if there are any members of the public who wanna speak on this? No, yes, sir, waited.
Strongly support.
Yeah. Excellent.
They were one of the greatest neighbors you could ever have.
Yeah, are you guys, did you name one of your bands after Leslie, is that you? Yeah, that's right, so one of their bands is named Leslie after our own Leslie Murphy, our chair of our board, so.
She really saved us, we had a catastrophic flood a few years ago.
I'm glad to hear that.
So now I'm gonna give you the name transportation.
Yeah.
Plan.
Yeah, if this works out, we're gonna.
All right,
So I got a motion, was there a second? A second, great, all those in favor? Looking online, looking online.
What a great
Amazing.
presentation.
Yeah, you're not only excellent bakers, but you are fantastic slide deck makers, I don't know.
I got a little help from a 22-year-old.
Very impressive. I assume no one opposed, abstained, or present unavailable, we'll just make sure.
Okay.
Okay, great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So nice to meet you, thank you for coming. We, like the bakery, okay. We too, we all love the bakery, thanks. All right, we have more, we're not done yet, so, I'm moving us into new business. Because there are at least a couple items of new business, and there are people here, who, well, we have people in the room, but I do believe we still have online attendees who would like to speak on the new business, and so, let's move them in, we have Mac. And I know Hunter is here for this, maybe Gabriel, but whoever wants to speak on any new business at all, now would be the time to please raise your hand and we'll move you over. Thank you for. Hello, Mac. Hello, thank you very much for your patience and sticking with us tonight. These meetings can go long, so we're appreciative. Good to see you.
Are we in business? Yeah, likewise. Thanks, guys. I know. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We've been on email chain with several members of the committee to discuss the situation on 9th Avenue between 19th and 20th, where I live. The avenue was recently resurfaced and restriped to provide 3 parking spots, a loading zone, and then a buffer zone that I understand from DOT will become bike racks. Now it's just a big empty 4x4 space that serves to as a taxi cab parking lot. Just as the street was resurfaced and restriped, a deli very popular with taxi drivers moved into the block, and the block is at its very limit in terms of the traffic and the unpredictable ways that drivers are moving. The bus stop on the west side of the street is almost always completely full of taxis with trunks open and flashers on, blocking buses, so then the bus has to stop in active traffic. On my side of the street, on the east side of the street, the buffer zone that's protected by lane delineators, they drive over the delineators into the buffer zone, drive over the bike lanes, they park in the loading zone. And obviously this is like bad for any number of reasons, but the most annoying and most dangerous reasons that it causes significant double parking. Oftentimes the avenue is down to 1 block. The traffic gets blocked up for blocks. And it's quite dangerous to try to cross the street because it is a lot of cabs moving across a lot of lanes of traffic at once to get to parking spaces, to park in any available space, on the block. And we've called, and spoken to my neighbors about this, we've called 311, we've been doing that. The police come, they clear the area. 5 minutes later, the area is full again. This tends to happen between 7 and 10 every night, although during the day, the illegal parking does sort of consistently go on, just not at the same level of swarm as it is at night. And it really does seem to be a problem, both of enforcement. Like I said, the police will come out after hours, and the parking enforcement agents, they're not writing tickets. They don't care to write parking tickets. And during the day, I've seen parking enforcement agents just ignore it. In fact, on Saturday, I walked home, found an agent giving a ticket to the UPS truck that was parked in the bus stop, while there were 6 cabs parked on this side of the road, including in the loading zone where the UPS truck should have been parked. And I could not get him to go and enforce these zones on my side of the street. He pointed to a 3-hour parking sign that is on this side of the street that points to the entire side of the street and says it's legal parking, even though the street markings say otherwise. So it's a question of enforcement and also design. Perhaps there's better signage, perhaps there is clearer signage, perhaps there's a way to sort of fix this donut hole of enforcement where the parking enforcement isn't doing anything during the day and the police can't or won't do anything during the night. But regardless, it's an incredibly dangerous situation. I've lived here for over 20 years. I find it troublesome to sort of cross the street and make sure I'm not getting hit by a car that's moving in some way that it's not supposed to. I understand understand this may be on next month's agenda as an item. I hope it is. But until then, any feedback from DOT to put temporary barriers for the lane delineators, to make clear signage, any amount of temporary help would be most appreciated. We're also facing the Fulton House's construction starting at some point soon, maybe. And this block will become even more troublesome with traffic and noise and sort of dangerous implements.
Okay, thank you for bringing this to us, Mac. And yes, we do have it on the agenda, I believe, next month. But I'm gonna turn over to Christine because I actually missed the meeting where we've already talked about this location and I wasn't here for that.
Right, so thank you for this information. We totally understand what's going on there. Very difficult to address. The first question I have for you is, did you go to the precinct council and explain your problem?
All right, go to where?
The precinct council.
Yes, I mean I've called 311. My neighbors call 311.
No.
Jarrett, the community associate or the community officer is aware of these issues. The 10th precinct does not typically apparently enforce parking. So they're collecting data of all of the 311 calls. They have seen the data spike or the calls spike since February, March when this situation emerged. So they're aware of it. They are as annoyed, I think, as all of us are on the block. They have to come out and enforce parking every night at 7:30. But it's some amount of coordination between the 10th precinct, the parking enforcement authority, and DOT to fix it. And it seems like that's sort of where we're stuck.
I'm asking again, have you gone to the community precinct and sat down and expressed to the commanding officer that this is a problem?
We have emailed with him, yes.
You have what?
Sorry, I'm sorry, there's a siren somewhere.
Yeah. So say that again. Did
No.
you go there?
I have not physically gone to the precinct, no.
Okay. All right. So it would be really, really, really important to go to the meeting of the, community council, precinct community council, and maybe take 2 or 3 of your, neighbors and report there, because that's where you have the commanding officer who can really direct his people to do the right thing. So I would encourage you very strongly to do that first. And I'm not, by doing that, I'm not suggesting we are not going to take it on next month. But I think this is a very important thing to do for you first.
No, I'm fine doing that. Like I said, the community officer has been on the emails and is aware of the situation. So if there's a level of if there's a level of escalation to someone else at the precinct, I'm more than happy to do that, to loop them in.
So you have to go to that community council, the precinct community council. On the website, it's going to tell you when it is and where it is.
Next Wednesday,
Next
last Wednesday of the month.
Right, and you can go, and this is very, this is the most effective way to engage NYPD into any situation. And this is mostly an enforcement situation. Then I'll talk and I'll talk to you about other things that can be done. But I don't know that DOT is going to do much on that. So I don't want to give you big hope.
The enforcement cannot happen 24 hours a day, which is what it would take to actually stop this. So there is a question of design. Whether it's more spaces on that side of the street for taxis, I don't know. Whether it's clearer signage, I don't know. But it's not just an enforcement issue. I agree it is partially an enforcement issue, but it's not just that. And as far as I'm concerned, there's like a short-term solution of finding ways to fix this now versus the longer-term solution of seeing what actually works for the neighborhood. Because like I said, this business moved in just as the neighborhood was restriped. So we have never even had a chance to see what the normal flow of traffic, the normal flow of pedestrians was before we had this event. So I think it is it is a DOT conversation at some point.
And I do think, I'm looking forward to what, you hear from the community council and what they say about their enforcement levels, so that when we do take this up officially next month, we can have that discussion and can create, as we've done, you've seen all tonight, the brainstorming that we've been able to do in terms of suggestions that we can make to DOT, to NYPD. Unfortunately, we can't really formally take that up now because we want to make sure that we've invited all the interested parties and give formal notice on this topic. But again, we are definitely aware of it, and we want to, work with you on this to alleviate the issue. I know Missy, I saw you have your hand up. I'm happy to hear from you. Hi, if you can unmute yourself. No, you got to unmute. You got to unmute. Missy.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay. I live right next door to the deli. And I got to tell you, it is making me insane. It's like a Costco parking lot. It's just too much. It's too much traffic. There's honking. There's constantly, you'll have 3 or 4 cabs doing backup beeping. I don't know how they are a 24-hour. There's never been a 24-hour business there, but it's like 24 hours. My neighbor goes out in the middle of the night and there's like a group of guys talking in front. There are bedrooms in front. So they're all standing out front talking. This happened at their previous, they've just brought all their bad habits over from their previous spot. And my biggest worry is with all the trash and everything, we're going to get rats. That's aside from transportation, but it's too much. We're a historic district. We're a landmark district. We just should not be having like the cycling in and out. We're a bus stop. They're just too lazy to park in a regular parking space. They just pull up in front, flip the back open, leave the engine running. This is all day, all night. Leave the engine running and then run in. It's crazy. It is crazy how badly this is managed. And I think they're going to try and get the bus stop taken away. And the traffic, let me just address the traffic agents really quickly. The traffic agents will not give them a ticket. I don't care how many precinct meetings you go to, they will never give them a ticket. They wait by my car at 9:05 for alternate side parking, but they will never. I have talked to every single one of them and said, why are you not giving tickets? Oh, thank you for your comment, lady. Thank you. And then they walk away. Or somebody took the bus stop sign down and the guy says, oh, I can't, they don't know it's a bus stop. The sign is gone. Like, it's just insane. It's too much traffic for this block. We just got over the pot shop.
I want to make sure you save, because again, we're going to want you to testify next month again.
I'll be certifiable by next month. Yeah. It is just all day, all night. It is crazy. And I'm getting crazy.
Sorry, I just wanted to add one quick thing to this conversation. First of all, it is a no man's land. I bike by there when I take my kid to school around the corner. It's always like 4 cabs parked. Yeah. Like DOT needs to put something there if it's not parking. I just wanted to point out that TLC does enforce illegal parking and does give tickets to TLC drivers. So there's an app called Reported that makes it very seamless for you to take a picture of a cab that's illegally parked, and it'll get uploaded, and TLC will have a trial and they will find that cab driver, and it completely circumvents NYPD, who very rarely enforces stuff like this. So if you guys could aggressively download that app and start reporting these guys, and the people that are parking illegally are getting $200, $300 tickets, they might.
That's an excellent suggestion, Charlie.
But it's only on bike lane.
Oh, no, it's for any illegal parking by, and just the only cars that it works with are TLC. Coincidentally, in this situation, it sounds like the only bad offenders are TLC.
Yes.
Okay. No, it's everybody. It's everybody.
We get this for
we did.
Yeah.
They got some.
Because, David, I saw your hand up before, I'm sorry. Did you want to say something?
Just quickly, I was gonna, Charlie stole my thunder. I was gonna say report it to the TLC. So, no, that's good. Charlie's great. But I would say report it to the TLC. And you know, with the app, you gotta take a picture of it in the lane for it to work with your camera and send it out. So when you get the app, take. So, but yeah, the TLC is pretty strict on enforcement.
Okay.
Okay, great.
So hopefully, maybe, that, you know, the community council plus starting to report directed PLC, maybe hopefully by next month, this starts to slowly get addressed, but we are, obviously, we will hear from you a month from now. When the meeting is properly noticed.
One more question, Mike, what suggestions, can you send me an email with the suggestion you have for changes for DOT? And I can look at them.
Okay, great. Yeah, I can do that very easily.
Thank you so much. Thank you to you both. Thank you for
Thank you
sticking
both.
on with
Thank
us.
you all.
And we'll see you in a month.
Great, thanks.
Great. Was there one more item in mind? Are you hanging around for new business? More new business? Are we getting? Oh.
Yes, very happy guy Brad to demonstrate what goes in the van. So
You have to take it back.
I said, I can't take it back. What? But I take the whole.
We'll make sure we get it.
Yeah, I mean. So can we close the night? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We get a bread slice for a night, isn't it?
But that is, we are actually working on it.
On what? Wow. I didn't do that.
Bread slice, they don't slice bread there.
We need that. We need it. Okay, any other new business other than, real quick, two things. One, real quick for me, is that we were supposed to go out and like talk to bus drivers about signal priority, and I know none of us did that. No, that's okay. We don't have time to talk about it now, but we're gonna talk about it next month. Maybe, and reminding everyone to do it, and if you forget what bus route you were, like me, we should just figure it out again, but I already got mine. So there's a list somewhere, I can resubmit it. All right, and then Christine's gonna quickly.
So today, Amtrak and has selected the company that is going to do, and that's the company we wanted. That's the company likes running, and that's the company that is going to remove the theater at Penn, and who is not going to remove the block 780. So I think this is very, very good news. Now, the next step is, really discussing the design and all that stuff, and then doing the EIS.
Great. I now have one very last item, which is, I understand that this is Liam's last meeting with us. He is moving on to have a career, his career pursuits are taking him elsewhere for a while. I'll let him fill us in, but unfortunately, I believe this is his last meeting. Liam.
Yeah, I got a fun new job in DC for the year, and so I'll be back in New York at the end of it. But yeah, my term lapses, so figured I would let it lapse, and yeah, maybe I'll be back with you guys someday. I joined in 2016, and then had to go to college years later, and then came. So maybe there'll be a round 3, but it's been a joy, and I love our meetings every month. So thank you.
Were you 16 or something? When you joined 2016, how old were you? You were 16, right?
I was 16.
Yeah, you were 16. Yeah, you could be 16.
Yeah, you're 16. Yeah, 16.
Awesome. Yeah.
It was one of the first one after Gail Brewer changed the rule and say, let's get, younger people rather than.
Emails. 16 since then.
There was one woman, but I don't know what happened to her girl. Anyway, Liam, you've been really, thank you, congratulations. You've been big value to us, and we definitely miss you. Your input has been always so valuable. So thank you. Good luck to you.
See you in 10 years.
And see you, we'll be back in the elevator line. All right, and with that, is there a motion to, we got it.
No, just letting everyone know, Jesse is making the rounds in terms of his, leaving, so he's gonna be saying to everyone, you know, this is our last meeting,
Yes.
going round by round.
What, Jessica Dean's his last full board will be this next full board, so, we'll wait for that. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Adjourn second, great. Goodbye, thank you everyone online, thank you Janine.
Have a good night, everyone.